Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another Chelsea transfer watch on Chelsea Perspective. Again, as usual, let me say, as it has been since the transfer window opened, so much hasn't happened. But ironically, there's so much to talk about. We'll talk about Raphinha still because there's still so much going on with that story. We'll talk about Gnabry, talk about Robert Lewandowski, and every other stuff going on with our beloved club. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, thank you very much. Tide Talks and then Deals CFC. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you guys are doing well. Ty, first of all, before I go to Deals, tell me how you're doing.
I am doing okay. I'm just laughing because of what I just saw on Twitter, but we'll discuss
Mhm.
that soon.
Yeah, the drama hasn't ended. How about you, Deals? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Kitchen. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
complain. I can't complain. Thank you very much. You know, I started a fight with you on your inbox. You don't, you're so
sorry.
eager to get up all the
Yeah,
time. Or you just come
yeah,
straight and you say, "Where's the link?"
yeah. Sorry.
No
So,
worries. I'm just kidding. But that's,
sorry.
by the way, I say this
For future,
tradition
for
On
future.
Chelsea Perspective. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go and look at what we already have in the chat and say
yeah.
hi to everybody there and find out how they're doing. Here we have a Jabulani in Zumalo. It's been up quite a while, my brother. He said now that both Raphinha and Dembele are off deals for Chelsea. Assad Asia is again is Chelsea must sign Lewandowski and Ronaldo for a strong mentoring foundation for young brother Vel and Havertz. We'll see what happens. That's quite a lot of
Coachella.
superstar lists there. Let me just catch up. Let me catch up with the
Yeah.
chat. I'll be with you in a bit. Jabulani at the back, Chelsea must assign Koulibaly and Bremer since both Kounde and De Ligt, just like Raphinha and Dembele, they want to play for Barcelona and Bayern respectively. Wow, you're serious here? Or release who? Release Jorginho, Emerson, Malangsa, Kennedy, in addition to already departed Rudiger. Again, it's that's quite a lot of work. Match host Trends TV says Broja to be sold to West Ham or Everton. I am suspecting they're going to sell him, but you cannot be sure right now. We're told that he's going to join the camp after a week or so. So I'm going to wait till that happened, but I have my suspicions also. Now, Blue Blood says that a certain music is putting me to kinky song. So yeah, John, every time you say that, this song, that's in that order. The first one and the second one, Starling and Raphinha to Chelsea. You're still arguing that again. Barcelona all talks, but we'll see. Izuchukwuwanne Okolo says, good evening to you too, brother. Thank you all for finding the time to join us here. And please, as you're coming in, be sure that you're liking the video. We want as many people as possible to be part of this show. So, Deals, you want to say something? Go ahead, shoot for it.
We got a lot to get into with
Yeah,
Gnabry.
yeah, yeah. I have a list here, but go ahead. You say what you want to say.
Basically, I wanted to say that all of us Chelsea fans have to be positive. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
we're in a new era. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
we're not in the Roman Abramovich era no more. We have to be positive and patient.
mm-hmm.
That's my words.
Yep. I appreciate you. You're always snappy. And here, Ty Tuck CFC, who's also on the panel, he says things that are like meat table. Yeah, meat table, that's very bad. You have to be ashamed of yourself, Ty. But that's, by the way, if you're in the chat already and you haven't, take a second to go check out Ty Talks YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Great content, great individual. He knows what he's talking about, even though he's still young, but he understands football very well. and hopefully my screen won't act up today. I think I've sorted out what the issue is. I will try to share the link to his channel while the show is still on, so you can go check him out. And Lusala says, "Hi guys, Chelsea is too slow. Look at Sterling's signing. We read everything. We read everything that everything is agreed, but still no announcement."
None of that. None of that, man. None of that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna agree with that. And Chunky Fat at 12 says, "I am happy how it ended with Dembele. To be honest, too much injuries. Some people feel that way." So Ty, go ahead. You said you wanted you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, that thing, that comment, and also what I saw about Raphinha. So you're gonna speak about, because you said you're gonna speak about the Raphinha
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So,
it's in the list. It's in the list.
yeah, so you said, so I'll wait until when you start talking about it. But when that's what I saw, it made me laugh.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead, say it. Then we'll look at it later together. That's how we roll here. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
the Raphinha news is hilarious because, considering the fact that we are hearing all night that these have accepted their bid, but it's only been a verbal one. So I mean, like, it's like you're just saying, okay, we'll give you £75 million or 75 million euros, and then Leeds say, yeah, fine, I'll accept that, and then boom, no, they can't get that. It's hilarious because, I mean, can they do it? And plus, Fabrizio Romano said on his YouTube channel that nobody in football knew how they'll be able to how they'll manage to get Raphinha, how they'll be able to pay for Raphinha.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this thing, I just don't know. This whole thing is so confusing because they I mean, we know that they're in debt, but debt can end you. And I mean, and and even though they do have money, they're just in debt, it allows them to have these constraints or these things that prevent them from being able to make as much jobs or to do as much work as they want to do in terms of adding to the squad. But it looked like they really wanted to add 11 players to the team. They look like they're trying to build a team this summer. And to me, I don't think that's smart because in the coming years, they could end up getting into a horrible situation where they may have gotten to a situation where it becomes horrible for them. But I mean, I just find this hilarious. But we'll discuss it further down.
Yeah, it is really, it is really funny. Dills, I want to get your thoughts on what we're looking at on the screen. Go ahead, I'll read it in a bit, but I want you to talk first.
It's a bit odd, ain't it? It's a bit odd, ain't it, that we heard rumors about they've got the 75 million accepted. Mm-hmm. So what's going on with the 75 million? We've heard?
Not even, they have like a 300 and something million. So again, that's you're actually reducing the amount we heard they got. So, but go ahead.
But for that sort of money, they must have something prepared. Hello?
It is indeed crazy. And let's read the statement again. The statement reads, Raphinha's situation, Leeds are still waiting for Barcelona to submit the official proposal after the verbal bid improved on Sunday night. 72 million total package. It's the final but key step. Raphinha optimistic. He has been pushing during the weekend. The truth remains, this just shows nothing is agreed yet. Maybe it's a delay tactics to them. Maybe because they were given a deadline, so they just wanted to do something that will, make Leeds to start waiting for them while they try to gather the money. I think that's what I'm seeing. The situation is. It doesn't look like they have it now. Go ahead, Deus.
Do you think it's a smoke screen for Dembele?
It's very possible. You guys should keep talking. I'm gonna try and take care of something quickly, please.
Yeah. TY.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a smoke screen for Dembele?
Who? For what? For what team?
Raphinha.
Yeah, but what team? Barcelona or for Chelsea?
Barcelona.
Honestly, I don't know because they want both, or reportedly they want both. Javi wants both apparently. So I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. It would be funny because I think it could go either way. It could be that we're hearing that they want both, and then if they get Raphinha, Dembele comes to Barcelona and goes to Camp Nou and they're like, oh, I'm excited, I'm ready to sign that 2-year contract, and then he just hear them say, I'm sorry, we only wanted Raphinha, goodbye, we don't need you, goodbye. See you in the future. Good luck to you with your future endeavors. We can't sign you. I'm sorry. Goodbye. And then boom, they only get one. It'll be hilarious because this whole situation, this whole Barcelona thing, I find it so hilarious. Because you have these journalists from Barcelona who are making and fabricating these news that, oh, Barcelona, things are happening at Barcelona and Raphinha right now. Things are getting better. Oh my gosh, they're gonna get you. Dios mío. Oh my Lord, Dios mío, Dios mío.
TY, I've always said, don't wait until the play. Wait till a player is in the shirt. Yeah, that's what I've always said. Yeah, and these journalists love to say rumors, but it's the game.
Yeah,
it's the game.
let me. Yeah, go ahead. Let me try and catch up. Let me try and catch up with the chat quickly because I don't want us to be far too behind. We want to carry those in the chat along as we go. And I don't want us to dwell on this Raphinha story too much. Again, we're just going to highlight the fact that Barcelona, where they agreed, they were going to pay a certain fee to Leeds United, when in fact it is just a strategy to delay to see if they're going to get the money. I'm coming, bro. So what I'm trying to say in effect is this. Ty alluded to it a little bit. I think there's a chance they go back to Dembele and say, you know what, we don't want you anymore. We're sorry. Again, Deus, you want to say something quickly so that I can catch up with the chat? I don't want to be far too behind.
I find it a bit odd. Odd that all this stuff is happening within days. You look at the Gnabry situation now. That's ramping up now. So like it's a bit odd at the moment, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, them agreeing to pay a fee was just a way to slow because they had 24 hours or 48 hours to outbid Chelsea or Raphinha joins us. And then we haven't heard anything about the Dembele situation, even though he's traveled to Spain. And what we heard then that he was traveling to Spain for them to wrap up his own deal. Again, it just doesn't make sense. His own deal also doesn't make sense because we were told that they've agreed a term. And then we're told also in the same, statement that they're waiting for the Barcelona board to approve it. So it just doesn't make sense because it is the same Barcelona board. They had a representative or a contingent, if we prefer, during the negotiation that Laporta was also part of. So what happened, I don't know. So I'm just going to push ahead and catch up with the chat, and I'm bringing my co-host, Louisa. I'm happy I've read that one. And here, Hama Mbolu Olugbenga, my Niger brother, says, good evening, sir. Good evening to you too. I hope you're doing well. Pepper J, Jamaica, nice to see you here, brother. Chelsea was chasing the lead with no rivals until Bayern joined the race, and it seems he was signed for Bayern. Again, nothing is concluded yet, but we'll be following the situation, and if anything new develops, you be rest assured this is one of the first places you'll hear about it. Julius Amwa says, big up to Kachila and the rest of the panel. Thanks for the stream. Thank to you for the support. It's not easy, so we appreciate all the support we get from you. Barcelona, Chinedu Obiagam says, Barcelona taking all of our target. I see a future clash with them in the Champions League. I want to see that happen. Chelsea should look at all the targets. Kounde, De Ligt, Raphinha, all drawn out. Again, you can't say that from what we're seeing out there. Please, Broja are meant to be kept. Again, I hope that happens. They want Chelsea to retract their offer so that Leeds will accept their deal because they've been talking for way too long. They've been talking for way too long. There will be a proper bid and not just a verbal offer. And I haven't heard that Chelsea has we've withdrawn that offer. So that's also a giveaway. So you can't say that he's off to Barcelona as yet. At the end of the day, we're better with our players who actually wants to play for us. That's just the truth. However, how can we be certain that Barcelona is not bluffing? Yeah, and buying them. I think they're bluffing from what we're seeing right now because we haven't also heard that we've withdrawn our bid. And Leeds haven't said anything like that. they're probably buying themselves more time. I alluded to that a bit. I said that's what I think they're doing. I'm just going to skip quite a few and get to the bottom. Some more here says, if there is a final agreement between Leeds United and Barcelona, Leeds should have come out with an official statement. I don't think they come out with an official statement until everything is completed. Then they come out and tell their fan base that this a fan that he's left us to Barcelona. Good luck to him and all that, yada yada. Again, I don't think anything is completed yet. Big up Kuchila. Has Sterling gone to the US yet? I don't know. If he has, I will let you know. This Raphinha deal has more twists than a candy cane. Oh, that's a I love that. That's a delicious comment, by the way. I thought the deal was completed with him to Barcelona, and yet it is not. I would not be surprised if at the end they pull out and Raphinha and even Dembele are stuck or even clubless. And that's a possibility, because we should be hearing by now that they through with the Dembele agreement and everything, and that he's extended his stay at the club. I will be back, Kuchila. I'm just charging my phone. Okay, thank you very much. Nice. Luis, I'm going to come to you right away. Your thoughts on what we're hearing, that in fact nothing is actually done. They haven't paid anything. They just verbally said they will pay a certain amount of money, but they haven't given Leeds anything. So do you think it's a delay strategy, or do you think they're going to get it, but it doesn't look like they get the money?
Yeah, I don't think it's. We've discussed about it before. It's not really a matter of does Barca have the money to pay for these players. It's a matter of they are trying to put themselves in a good financial situation by maybe either underpaying for players or trying to cut down the wages of the players they do have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, the people in the chat and what you've just said that I've heard about now is actually making me to rethink my situation, my stance on this situation. It kind of looks like they're using the Raphinha deal to like church change Dembele. Maybe you know you are not fit, you are probably not going to play the whole season. It's either you leave to a club that maybe is not necessarily going to like keep you around through all your injuries, or you take a pay cut because we're bringing in your replacement that is probably going to get more minutes than you due to your injury history. So we have to look at that and try to understand that maybe Barca are trying to really be very business savvy right now. It's not just do they want this player, it's business for them right now. They're trying to balance their books. It's not just they want the best player. They want the best player they can afford, and they can afford to pay long term.
Yeah, it's indeed very, very funny. I just don't understand. If you're in the chat, let us know what you think is going on with Barcelona at this point. Right now, we have 117 people watching and 30 likes. That's not easy, and we're just 23 minutes into the show, so I can't thank you guys enough. I'll continue reading what they have in the chat. And Louisa, thank you. Sorry, apologies for my bad manners. I hope you're doing well. And JJ127 says, which against center backs are we going to buy? I'm not sure yet. We only know that we're talking with Koulibaly. We're not that serious. We're learning that we're not that serious about signing De Ligt. But we'll see what happens. We're following the stories as they develop. So if anything comes up, we'll be sure we will, enlighten you on that. Says Gnabry is better than Gnabry is better than Sterling in my opinion. I hope we'll get him. He is underrated. Again, I wouldn't start comparing them. I think they bet different type of players. They play differently. Again, that's me. I feel Broja should stay and be our rotation player as long as he is guaranteed game time. When we suffer with our first 11, again, there's a chance he stays. That's also a chance he leaves. It's 50-50 if you ask me. We need a Koulibaly who is a talented defender, experienced, good on the ball. Let me help you complete that. A lot of experience yet of Champions League game. Stability in central defense should be our priority. To me, I said balance also. Let me see something. I just saw something about Koulibaly, because at the same time as I'm reading these, I'm also looking at something on the other screen to see if there's an update for you guys so that we will talk about it immediately. Now that it is clear that no one will even come close to Dembele's demand, Barca are not in a hurry to re-sign him. They're not, because he's the one that's stuck. But I think they're playing it so nicely. Dembele himself doesn't even see it as if it's in a problem. They using him, and I'm surprised how they're able to get these players to be that stupid. But then again, we're not going to talk about them that much. Big up chat in panel, big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. The Added Time podcast, if you haven't, go check it out and make sure to subscribe and do let them know I sent you. Big up to you, Louisa. Julius Amoy saying hi to you, Louisa. And Bayern hasn't even submitted any concrete bid officially yet, and Chelsea hasn't, got it officially yet. We are not certain that De Ligt is going to Bayern. We're not certain, and also we're not certain that he's coming to us. The price tag I am hearing is the issue for Chelsea Football Club. Again, I'm going to stop right now and go back to the panel. Anybody want to say anything else regarding, this Raphinha drama before we move on?
Can I say something? If that's not Louis.
Go.
Yeah, I just saw somebody say that the thing with this Raphinha thing is like the problem that's in the fact that he was to be a Barca player rather than a Chelsea player. The analogy that he used, that it's like a guy who forces himself on a girl who doesn't like him. I don't think that is accurate, because both parties like each other. I think maybe probably the better analogy would be, I'm not trying to be harsh, but right, the girl is sick and she only has some time to live. So nothing can happen there because there's no guarantee that they will survive for too long. I think maybe that's the closer one. There's not an ideal analogy for it, but I think probably that would be closer, because it's not that both don't like each other. Both want each other, but it's about if they can afford, or if they have the time in order to fulfill what they want to do.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. Louisa, you have anything else to say about it?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. Like, Barca is teaching us a whole lot of business, economics, and negotiation tactics with this transfer window right now. We're learning how to be dubious in the transfer market with Barca right now.
Yeah, we're learning. They're teaching us how to be savvy, maybe, if you prefer. If you just don't want people to say again that you're a thief or you're a con man or something like that. But I appreciate the way you put it. Again, we have 117 people watching and we have 35 likes. Please keep liking the video. And I'm going to repeat myself again. I'd rather you keep liking the videos than donate your hard-earned money, because, yeah, you being part of the conversation, being in the chat, watching the video, even when you're not contributing in the chat, those things do go a long way. So thank you. And please keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Right now, we're at 3,990 subscribers, just 10 away to 4,000 subscribers. That really makes me very happy. Now, look at what we have on the screen about this man right here. Again, I saw something that Chelsea Football Club they're not willing to go in with the amount of money that what's your name, Juventus are asking. That they want to prioritize signing Koulibaly. Maybe they want to mix them up, or get Koulibaly and then mix them up with the young players we have on the team, and that makes perfect sense. Maybe they're not in the, because they're spending that much money. Also, again, I want them to pay and get De Ligt, because he will have selling value and he brings a leadership. And Koulibaly in 2 or 3 years time, we'll be talking about getting someone else. And here it says Kalidou Koulibaly's agent met with Chelsea yesterday. He's seen as an alternative option to De Ligt. Chelsea have a feeling De Ligt will join Bayern, or maybe because we're hearing already that he's agreed personal terms with Bayern. And according to Fabrizio Romano, it is confirmed, and Juventus have learned from Bayern Munich that he's agreed on personal terms with them. And maybe we're saying that we're not going to go into that kind of nonsense again. When a player doesn't really want to come to us, we just let the player go. Louisa, your thoughts on this one, on the De Ligt story versus the club preferring Koulibaly over De Ligt?
Yeah, right from time we've said it on this show that Koulibaly has been one of the targets we've been looking for in the defense. So I think we're just really going down the list of the defenders that we do have on our shopping list. if we put it like that. So I think I don't really know what the De Ligt situation is exactly compared to like how he's feeling, because the first thing we heard about it was that he wants to come to Chelsea. Now he has agreed personal terms with Bayern, and Chelsea were the most likely to cough up that money because we were in dire need of De Ligt. So I really don't know how that happened, that he went from wanting to come to Chelsea to agreeing personal terms with Bayern. I think it's all fine and good. Maybe, normally if a club comes in for a player and that club kind of makes the player more interesting and someone else comes in, the player will be like, oh, this is actually where I would have really wanted to go, but they never had the offer till now. It's fine.
And I'm learning. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I do think Koulibaly is actually good for us. Depends on what we're actually planning to do with the Koulibaly situation. Maybe we're going to get him. If we do get Nathan, also trying to maybe create like a mentorship with Silva and Koulibaly for younger guys that we can actually train instead of getting De Ligt, who we probably need. De Ligt is also a leader, but I don't think it's more of a position to be a mentor to other players that we would have wanted to bring in.
Here's the thing. I have to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind having De Ligt in Koulibaly at the same. I think probably maybe the club is being reluctant to spend money, and I'm learning from a tweet from Pies or PYS, if you prefer, that Chelsea suspected that from last week. They suspected that he's bent on joining Bayern and not Chelsea Football Club. So that's why they're not too serious about him. And now I'm hearing that they prefer to go for Koulibaly than him, and that they've already spoken with Koulibaly's agent. I think that changes everything. If in fact De Ligt doesn't want to come with us, I'd argue let's push, because at his age he has a certain value, and what he's able to do. At his age, it's superb. It's very rare. That's something you don't see all the time. But if they're not serious, I'm not going to argue against them. Again, I've said it here a zillion times here. If I'm not going to question the club's decision in the market, because we've always called for the club to support the manager. And if that's exactly what they're doing, I'm not going to question them. Ty, your thoughts on the De Ligt Koulibaly's emerging stories? Okay, it looks like Ty also is away from his phone. But again, it's something that I'm concerned about. But we move on. Let's look at the next story we have here. Again, it's still the same story, but here it says De Ligt is seduced by the Bayern Munich project. As of today, Chelsea are not taking steps forward. Bayern meeting with Juventus was positive, but they are still far away from agreeing a transfer fee. So again, that's a sign that really Chelsea aren't serious, because as of yesterday, we're hearing that Bayern, that they waiting, Juve, so to speak, that they're waiting for official, official beats from both Bayern and Chelsea Football Club. And we're learning that again, we're reluctant, we're not serious about it, because maybe they're seeing that he's not serious about joining us, but joining Bayern Munich. I hope that continues. If we sense that the player doesn't really want to join us, we just move on. I think we've looked at this one here, and this here says Chelsea would like Hakim Ziyech to leave on a permanent deal this summer with AC Milan. Why do you think that is? Why do they want the movement to be permanent? Do you think it has to do with his age? Because they don't want him to go out on loan and then come back even older, and then it will be even more. It will be difficult for the club to sell him.
I think, yeah, you are right about the age, but also if you look at how Thomas has used him, it's clear that, not clear, but it's looking kind of obvious that Ziyech is not part of what Thomas really wants to do, because I think as at March, April, when Hakim was even performing, all of a sudden we just started seeing him on the bench. He wasn't even coming in as a substitute. It was like, okay, Thomas is done with whatever Ziyech is doing. He was performing well. It's not like maybe he had a bad performance and then he got benched. He was performing well. Suddenly, we started seeing his name on the bench for like the next 5-6 games. Was he coming in? So, and what's going on now is that with the opportunity of having new owners, we really want to do like a complete, not complete for this transfer window, but as much as possible, we want to get rid of the people we can. And this is the perfect window to get rid of someone like Ziyech, because I don't think if we do wait till next year, we'll be able to get him on a good deal. And trying to sell him is just it's completely obvious that we're not able to. Someone like Lukaku, if we had a good offer for him, I think maybe if we had somewhere around 50 to 70 for him, he would have been gone. He would have been gone in the blink of an eye. So I think that's what they're also trying to do with Ziyech. But people, and they also know that because they have business managers, they have analysts and everything, they know that we want to get rid of him, so they don't want to buy him off our hand. They rather get him on a loan, which they know that they can try to make cheaper because it's not part of the project that is ongoing. So that's what's just really happening right now. I don't think, I don't see Ziyech being part of the plan. That is why they are just trying to sell him off. If they loan him, it's not beneficial for us because we just get something small. Then
and if it comes back old, then it doesn't make business sense. So I think, and again, he's a player I really would like to stay at the job, at the club, so to speak. Most especially now that we've heard that Thomas Tuchel is actually looking to switch up the system this coming season. But there's no guarantee that will happen actually, because we know how stubborn he can be. But that's why yeah, go ahead.
But I think what's happening is maybe Thomas has found out that the Premier League is kind of, you need to be switched on every game. You need to change things up because you are going to get those games where you think that you are the clear favorites to win and things are just not going your way. He's probably going to get to play the back four, but I don't think that's what is going to be married to the back four. He wants players who can play both as back four and back three, and Ziyech is not as flexible as he would have liked with him. You don't want a player where, okay, you are switching things up to a back three and it kind of looks like a liability. So
again, even if it changes, it's not going to be constant. I think he'll always revert back to the back three system. But that's a revert to the back three system, so to speak. We have Rodrigo in the house. And again, Rodrigo, how are you doing, brother? I'm glad you have time to join us this evening.
I'm on a panel with Louisa.
Oh, yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth.
It's a pleasure to share the platform.
Yeah, she is also the correspondent for the
Chelsea women's team.
You watched that show then,
the women.
Yeah.
Did you see
so
England
Rodrigo, I want to bring you
Norway
up to par to see maybe you drop the keys and say you're not going to drive the panic bus again for the Chelsea fans. Look at what we have on the screen here. I'm sure you've seen it yourself. So I want you to talk about it a little bit. What do you think of that story?
Yeah, basically, Coach, don't listen to me. That was fake news. I'm still driving the bus. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So
let's
you know what? I've got this funny feeling that Barcelona will not come up with the money, and we would have been fed up and withdrew the offer, and Raphinha will end up playing at Leeds United.
Leeds already got a replacement for Raphinha, and they would really want to get rid of him.
But I don't think we've withdrawn an offer.
I think the Raphinha camp, I don't know, maybe they were ill-advised. Yeah, they should have. I don't know. I feel like they sort of like put all the deals about Chelsea out there, like they're not interested in Chelsea, blah blah blah. They should have had the narrative whereby, if there was a chance like Barcelona come up with the money, they should have been smart enough to see like we don't want to burn bridges with Chelsea. At the same time, yes, we have a dream for Barcelona, but they should, at least the agent, if you're smart enough, you would have been putting out feelers out there to just keep the Chelsea thing going until such a time where it's impossible for Chelsea to get him. If you know what I mean. I think they played this wrong, and I think either he's gonna go to Barcelona. I think more chance of it to go to Barcelona, or I think he's gonna end up at Leeds United. There's a chance Chelsea can still get him. There's a chance Chelsea can still get him, but I give that 20%. I give let me see if my.
Here's what I think, Rodrigo. I think there's a chance they still get him. It's just a delayed tactics. Maybe they don't have the money. they were expecting to get, because they quoted an amount. We're hearing 75, is it 60 plus 10 add-ons, bringing it to 70 or so. So they quoted an amount for Leeds, and people heard it and licked it. And that doesn't mean that Chelsea has, that we've withdrawn our offer. That's important to bear in mind, because if we had withdrawn our offer, it'd be everywhere. But we haven't heard anything like we've withdrawn our offer. Chelsea hasn't withdrawn the offer, the bid. So
can you hear me?
That makes it look like Chelsea knew all this, what's going on. And again, I think Barcelona, again, I'm going to say, maybe you didn't hear me when I said it's maybe there's a chance it's a delayed tactics, because what's happening? We heard that Dembele landed in Spain yesterday, to run, to finish up with his own confusing situation that I just can't understand. Maybe I need a scientist to help me decipher that statement, because it's one heck of a statement that's very difficult to understand. Now, the question I want you get, which what you were saying, I just don't think we've withdrawn our offer. I don't think so.
I think I couldn't hear anything. I just want to touch on De Ligt, because it was a thing that you guys were discussing.
Yeah, go ahead with De Ligt. Let's just move on from Raphinha.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I remember earlier, I think I was on your stream, I said we were not as advanced on the De Ligt stock.
This morning, you're correct.
Yeah, and I feel like we are not. I think this one will be one of them. We're watching from afar. We spoken to Juve. Juve have told us this is how much it's gonna cost, and then we went back on a drawing board and we're watching from afar.
But here's the thing. Let me try and show you that comment, because let's just not just start blame the man. Here it says okay, this says nothing about this one. Something I saw online. I'll find it and I'll show you with you guys. That Chelsea have always had the feeling since last week that De Ligt is bent on joining Bayern and not us. Maybe that's the reason they're being reluctant. I'm not sure it is the pride. But again, quickly, why I'm still talking about this, that's why we always educate our followers here to say, pay attention to what you read and how you soak them all up. We heard that we've already put in 2 bids. It turns out, we heard from Fabrizio Romano and Juventus themselves that they've not heard any official offer from both clubs. So that's why you should learn to always, whenever you read, don't take it that seriously until you see what's been talked about happen. Then you can say, yes, I think this has happened. Ty, you have anything to add while we wait? I'm going to wait to see if Rodrigo comes in, because we're moving on. We're moving beyond the Raphinha conundrum to De Ligt now. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, this in itself doesn't say that Chelsea have lost interest. All it says is that he's seduced by Bayern Munich, and I'm happy that it's in quotations, seduced by the Bayern Munich project. So because we've always heard.
There's one from Pies that says Chelsea had always, felt like that De Ligt himself is more attracted to the Bayern project since last week. So they're not serious about it. Go ahead.
Who wouldn't be attracted by the project? But that doesn't mean you can be attracted to something, and that doesn't mean that you go after it. Mm-hmm. So I think people need to understand that all this says in terms of the Chelsea side of it doesn't say that Chelsea have given up or they're moving away. All it says is that they have not taken steps forward, which means that they're still deciding, and that isn't necessarily good, but it also isn't bad, because the price tag that has been set by Juventus, or the supposed price that's being set, it's not something that I think any club should be jumping at and saying, oh, let's just spend bigger on this player, because there are little there's a high chance that he comes in and he struggles from the beginning, and then you're going to have that price tag that's going to be hovering over his head, saying about, if Juventus had valued him this high, why is it a situation where he's struggling like this? Where's the adaptability that we were hearing of? So I think that the club right now are probably weighing up the options to say that maybe the best thing is not to do that.
Yeah,
go ahead, yeah.
What actually came to my mind thinking about this thing was it could be that the Gnabry deal has already kind of ramped up. It could also be a situation where it's a three-way discussion between Bayern, Chelsea, and Juve, whereby because Gnabry is going to cost us kind of like a steep price also around, I'm expecting around that 50 to 70.
But I don't think we started talking with Gnabry.
But the interest has come up out of not nowhere, but the interest has ramped up considerably, and now it's looking like the interest in the Ligt has kind of gone down a little. It could also be that we're backing off De Ligt for Bayern, and we're putting pressure on Bayern to give us Gnabry, considering that De Ligt's price tag is also steep, and Bayern do not usually spend more than what they make. So we could probably be going in for Gnabry while they're going for De Ligt. It's just a theory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a theory that makes a sense to a considerable measure, because I'm suspecting we're going to be seeing all those kind of very confused and very complicated deals under Todd Boehly, because he's going to be getting involved a lot. He's a businessman again, but we'll see what happens. So thank you for pointing that out, and Ty, thank you for that great input right there. All the events that says Gnabry, is it Gnabry or Gnabry? The G is silent, right? So the G is silent, so it's Gnabry. Gnabry is a very good player, but comparing him to Sterling is not a very practical. They are different kind of player. I've said that myself. Thank you very much for agreeing with me. Gnabry is very nice player. I hope Chelsea can get him. Or if you ask me which of the players I prefer, I'd rather us get a Leroy Sané. That's a player I love so much. He's a good player. Again, that's my decision. And I'm going to ask the chat to decide, because both players I think are available. I think they're not getting enough game time. I don't know how long Leroy Sané has on his contract, but we'll see. Again, out in a bit, when the panel starts talking, I'll ask the chat which of the players they prefer. Moshe Sobeta says the problem with Raphinha lies on the fact that he wants to be a Barca player rather than a Chelsea. It's like, guys, who forces them? Okay, I'm not going to read it completely. Thank you. I get the picture. I am starting to understand the Barca's strategy. They're making a verbal agreement in hopes that they can raise the funds or from selling players, or in hopes that the selling club, be waiting for them to bring the money while they find time to sell some assets and raise enough money to come pay or maybe facilitate their transfer activity. Chelsea Godfather, how Barca is business is misery. It's no misery. Again, I'm not going to keep talking about Barca. Barca is a big entity. They have a very huge history. They're a big name, whether you like it or not, no matter how much in depth they are. They have great assets. The TV rights, they can fetch them quite a lot of money. Selling just 10%, they got like 300 million from it. So that's quite a lot of money. Sales of merchandise and all those things. So again, it's not a mystery how they get money. Yes, we know they're in debt, and that's a big problem, because it's a lot of money that they're going to pay for. But that doesn't mean they don't have money to buy players. Again, the truth is they're just trying to be strategic with their spending so that not to compound the debt issue that they have. So again, thank you very much for that input. We have 171 people watching, and we have 52 likes. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video. Keep liking the video. Let's shoot for 300 likes today by the end of the show. So thank you. Thank you. The likes are going up very, very fast. So you guys are absolute legends. Kimpembe says, let Raphinha join Barca. I don't want him if he doesn't want this move to us. Again, there's no way to confirm that statement that he said that he would rather stay back in play for Leeds United than join Chelsea Football Club. That's absolute nonsense. After that, also, we did hear a comment where he says he's open to joining Chelsea. So we're not sure what the delays are. And had he said anything like that, I'm sure the Chelsea board and Todd Boehly, they will hear about it. And then it becomes embarrassing, because you're forcing yourself on a player who doesn't want to play for the club. But I don't think that's the case. ESPN pundit said there's no way Barcelona can sign up both Dembele and Raphinha. The problem is Dembele is free, while a huge fee must be paid for Raphinha. This is why Barcelona is hesitating, and Dembele also may be asking for a sign-on fee. We don't know, but we see what happened. The Sterling passes medical. Usually you don't hear that. Nobody tells you whether they pass a medical or not. What you hear is that you just hear that his move to Chelsea Football Club is complete. Let me know if that's correct or wrong. But I think I haven't heard anybody say his pass. Except if he fails, that's when you hear about the medical. I think for real, they in no way Barca can afford. No, they don't say that they can't actually afford it. How Barca again? You said that before, and I've read it.
No, they said Bayern, not Barca. Bayern.
Oh, which one is Bayern? This one here? How Bayern can afford 70? They have money. They're in better position than Barca. They have money. They're big name too. Again, how Barca again? I've read that one too. Chelsea Godfather for real. Let Barca go further into debt again. That's not going to lead them more into debt because they getting the money from selling of their assets. It's not like they're borrowing more money. Raphinha prefers Barcelona, but I'm sure he doesn't mind Chelsea. The analogy was of we are not of forcing issues, we're just competing. That's what it is exactly. And thank you very much. I don't know how to pronounce. As I say, Ghazi, the club named Barca are very smart. Again, they're smart indeed because the way they're approaching look what they did, and that just slowed the whole thing down. And Leeds United now are waiting for them to bring the money. But I hope they move on from Barca and say, okay, we're just going to sell him to Chelsea. Gnabry is a better player. Again, that's just you consoling yourself. We have to be honest. With what metrics did you use? How did you measure, their capabilities and come up with that conclusion that Gnabry is better than Raphinha? Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about Leeds just upping and selling Raphinha to Chelsea it's kind of going to be unfair. It's not going to be nice if you do sell a player without the player's permission and go ahead. So you really can't say they should just sell him to Chelsea because they are done. But now Barca has Leeds in a certain situation because Leeds are not like Chelsea's, Liverpool, or the rest who have kind of like they have commercial value and they have an endless. Not endless pocket, but they do have a deeper pocket. Leeds needs the money from the Raphinha sale because they've gone ahead and gotten a replacement. So you kind of see where Barca's situation is now. Leeds are going to be, if Chelsea finally lose interest in Raphinha, Leeds are going to be forced to sell Raphinha to Barca at Barca's terms and conditions. So it's kind of funny what Barca is doing. They're actually doing some. It's not fair because everyone is like, why would Barca be able to do this and this? But they are doing some nice and smart business.
And this is an interesting comment here. I think I've read that. Again, thank you very much for that brilliant input, Louisa. That's why I always like to have you on the panel. And I'm glad you have time today. You probably took time to go watch the women's game. And when before joining, right? I know. You think I'm not following, but that's by the way. Now, we have 171 people watching, and we still have 69 likes. Let's shoot for 100 likes as soon as possible, please. We're shooting for 300 likes. We can do that today. Let's go, people. Keep liking the video, and also, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I want to take a minute to say thank you. Thank you for 4,003 subscribers. I will plan a special giveaway, and make sure you stay tuned to know how this giveaway is going to work. I cannot thank you guys enough. Right now, he says Koulibaly has been proposed to become a board member of Napoli board at the time he retires, and a contract of 6 million euros. I don't believe he will move away from Napoli. Again, what does it entail? What does he get from becoming a member of the Napoli board? If money is part of it, then it's something. If he can guarantee that he becomes a lifetime member of the board, then it's a special deal. But if it's just the name becoming a member of the board, that anytime tomorrow it's not like you have a share in a company. It's not like you have a share in a company. It's a job that someday they say, okay, you know what, you're fired. You do no longer work here. I wouldn't accept it. So we don't know what that really means. I read that before, but Lusala, thank you for bringing it up. That is so that shows how desperate indeed Napoli are, to keep Koulibaly at the club. Ty, you can come in. I want to know your thoughts on that. It looks like Ty is busy, but Luisa, you go ahead with your thoughts on what we're looking at on the screen. It is funny, but it may well be enticing for the player. You don't know. It depends on the structure of him being a part of the, what him being part of the board, what it really means, whether he makes money off of it, whether it's like owning a share in a company that no matter what happens, even if you're no longer there, you still be getting money from it. I don't think that's the case, because I know the Napoli president is a greedy man. I don't understand. Or maybe it's just them trying to make it look like they want to keep him. They don't want to sell him. I think it was the president that said he's who again, the DOF or who that says he's unsellable. I think, like I've argued before, the Napoli president himself, De Laurentiis, is a very difficult man to deal with. So he's probably trying to squeeze out as much money as possible. And he probably knows we're desperate, especially when you're talking about buying defenders. We're going to lose about 4 or 5 defenders. So you go ahead and tell me what you think about this thing here.
Yeah, Italy media, I always take Italy media with a salt of grain, because it's kind of funny to hear that someone is offering a 30-year-old defender a seat on the board and a higher pay raise just to keep them. I know it's a valuable defender, but this is almost like PSG with Mbappe all over again. A seat on the board to keep a player. You really don't want to set that kind of precedent, because you do have other players at the clubs who would be like, okay, if he's getting this, I'm getting that also. So I'm not sold on they are offering him a seat on the board, because when you think about the kind of character that the Napoli president is, he could also be trying to raise the price tag on Koulibaly, because first of all, Koulibaly is already around 30. It's just like us trying to sell Alonso or Azpilicueta. We're not really going to get that much. But Chelsea are willing to sell Alonso and Azpilicueta. Try and make it look like you're not willing to sell Koulibaly to a club who needs Koulibaly, and you see his price tag just kind of increasing, especially when you have that same club going after a defender like De Ligt, who Koulibaly has more experience than, but De Ligt is going around 80. So I feel like it's just them trying to raise his price tag. If Chelsea really go after him, they're going to get him. It's just a matter of how much we're probably going to get him for, and if the price Napoli set on him is enough, I don't think he's getting a seat on the board. Like, you are going to. The thing with business is that you don't want to set a precedent that you are going to do so much for a player. And Koulibaly at 30 is not really, because you don't really know how much he has left in his tank and at what age he's going to start declining in his performance, where his speed stops, his strength and all. I don't think they are going to set the precedent of giving. Maybe the salary might be the truth, but the seats at the board to stay. That's not.
I have to be honest. How old is Koulibaly right now? How old is he?
I think it's 31 or 30 or 31.
Okay, let me check. Here's the thing. Given his age, I'd rather us pay more money and get De Ligt. But except if the club's reluctance is as a result of Bayern's pursuit of the player, and they've already agreed personal terms with him, and they feel like that he's bent on joining Bayern and not Chelsea Football Club. That's the only reason I'd say, okay, maybe it's a good thing to do, just forget the lead and go. But there's no way to tell if that's in fact the truth. Yes, they've agreed personal terms with him according to Fabrizio Romano, but that doesn't mean they're getting him. We should push for the lead. I don't know why, because it just wouldn't make sense to pay 40 million plus for Koulibaly. Let me find out how old he is right now, because it's important to bring that into perspective when talking about that. What do you think? What do you think, Louisa? Given his age, do you think it will make sense to pay that much money?
Yeah, like you said, I'd rather we have both De Ligt and Koulibaly. But if we are going to go after one, I feel like we should just go after De Ligt with all we have. I've said this before. if we are going to rebuild, we might as well just rebuild right, not getting a 30-year-old defender that we are going to maybe have like 2, 3, 4 good years. Even if we do have 4 good years with Koulibaly, we're probably still going to be looking for a replacement for him. Not like a replacement if it's going to be going at full speed at 33, but if we're going to look for an understudy for him, we're still going to get a defender, and we're not going to get maybe a cheap defender in the next 2 years. In the next 2 years, the Leeds deal is going to look like a steal because everything is just going to keep going up and up. So I do feel like we should push for the Leeds. I'd rather have the Leeds than have Koulibaly. I'd rather have both of them. But if I was to go for one, I'd rather we go after the Leeds so that at least, even if he comes into Chelsea and he needs some time to acclimatize to the situation, you have 1 year, you have 1 season to give him time. If we do bring in Koulibaly and he needs time to acclimatize to the Premier League or Chelsea, that's 1 year lost. For the Leeds, that's 1 year of development.
Because tell me, how would you paying how much a 30 plus or 40 for a 31-year-old? Again, he's a good player, but it just doesn't make business sense. If we can get them both, I will be fine because balance is key in that defensive area. But I don't know about forgetting about De Ligt and going for Koulibaly. Again, it just doesn't make a business sense. That's a tweet I'm looking for that explains why Chelsea. I think they're forfeiting. Is this one? It seems like Chelsea didn't follow up the deal for the De Ligt plus bonuses. Okay, Bayern may well get again. I haven't seen the one I'm looking for, but I'll find it and talk about it. But never say never. We could bid for De Ligt. Putting that's a chance we do. Maybe again, there's always a space for argument. That's a chance we're waiting for Bayern, to put in their bid, and we know okay. They bid for 90 million. Let's bid for 95. That's a chance that's the case. And there's a chance also the case is what Louisa, what she alluded to, that there could be a three-way conversation going on here since we're hearing that we want Gnabry, but we see what happens. Again, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat here. Napoli are offering Koulibaly a contract, but apparently he likes Juve. No, he doesn't like Juve. He doesn't want to stay in Italy. That's what we're hearing. Before, at first he was bent on he wanted to join Barcelona. And then but more importantly, he wants to leave Italy, which means there's a chance he comes to us. Too much talking, that's all Chelsea do. You could argue that. I don't think the too much talking itself comes from the club. The too much talking comes from the media. It is you that interpreting the too much talk as if it is coming from the club. No, the too much talking isn't coming from the club. The too much talking is coming from the media, and our fans, we feed off of it. And again, we feed off of it like our lives depend on it. If you want to phrase it that way. So again, the too much talking doesn't come from Chelsea Football Club itself. It comes from the fan base and the media that covers Chelsea-related stories. If you want to phrase it that way. Rafael on Golito says Chelsea rather have a player who wants to. Again, we've argued that before, but again, I hear Chelsea is also looking towards the young. That makes me wonder how Tuchel would line up on the midfield. That's not. You don't even need to think that far to find out where the young will fit in our team. I think he plays the Jorginho role, and I've argued here before that he can actually execute the Jorginho role better than Jorginho does because it's more physical and it's quicker, and also he's quick thinking too. Again, plus, but that's by the way. Again, let's see what we have here also. But we're hearing that Manchester United also have, they've geared up their pursuit of their player. They're getting more serious because they really want them. Again, we'll see what happens. There's no guarantee who gets the young man. Deals CFC says the way you run your channel is the best in the. Oh, thank you very much. That's flattering, and I sincerely do appreciate that. Thank you, brother. I love you.
I second it, and third it, and fifth it.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, we have 206 people watching. So if you haven't, take a second to like the video, keep liking the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This is just a conversation with True Blue. Hakim has to be sold. His playing time is limited. I think I've always wanted him to leave, but I'm not going to go into why I want that to happen. Chelsea will buy Aki, who it's you that sees it like that, but we'll see what happens when he comes. how he performs. Ty, anything else you want to add to the Ligt story before we move to the next story?
I mean, honestly, it's he's a player that in I know people want a leader and everything, but I mean at the same time, there's an underestimation in terms of what he can bring to those leadership. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be a young player, but we've seen the young players that are exactly the same age as him that have been trusted, with the captain armband. And yes, anybody can wear the captain armband and everything. But I mean, it all goes back, and people say that you're looking at the past, but we can only look at the past to judge him. We can't look at the present because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't judge him based on that. So I think in that sense you have to do it. And I can remember the game in the Europa League when he was leading the team, and I mean even with the in Holland as well, he had that captain Orban for a while, and he was being relied on. At that time, he was 19, and that those are indication of somebody that they at that time the coach values you enough to say that you are going to be my captain. Obviously, that role changes, especially when you go to a club where you have players like Bonucci and Chiellini and those
And
Italian
captains of
players.
the team.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
Apologies.
and I mean those are general leaders. They do things, and I mean people are using the meme of Kalini pulling back Saka, but I mean sometimes you have to do those type of things. I mean he got booked for it, but I mean at the end of the day it helped the team in the end, and it was something that helped them to win the Euros. And by the way, for some people it's a new day, but I mean like July 11, I think it marks the 1 year since that happened for Italy. But anyways, with everything, it's something that I think people should look at. We have leaders in the team, and they're young, so it's not like if we get the late, or if the club were to get the late, it would
Mm-hmm.
mean that we're going to be missing out on leadership in any way, because there's a lot of players out there who are young and they still show that leadership skill that they have. So, I mean, he has that, and he's a player, but I just think that the price tag is something that is weighing the club's mind, especially probably Tuchel and Todd Boehly are saying that price tag is risky.
Yep, yep. Again, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that input right there. So we're gonna move on from talking about the lead, but quickly I want to say yes, Tribly, I agree with you. I give up this talking about Barca too. I think we should move on. But quickly before we do, I want us to look at this one. I think it's related. Ty, thank you for sharing this with me. It says Kalidou Koulibaly's agent of Fali Ramadani met with Chelsea yesterday. DiMaggio, according to DiMaggio, is seen as an alternative option for De Ligt. Since last week, Chelsea have had a feeling that De Ligt will join Barca. So Chelsea don't feel like he wants to join us. Again, I still don't believe that. It sounds like something. How do they know? Who told them what? It sounds like something that's made up. But again, that's me. Here's the one I want to talk about here, and this is one that really got me mad. There's a chance it is absolute nonsense. We're hearing that Lampard, he wants to come sign Conor Gallagher, but here is why I'm annoyed. So hear me out, Louisa and Ty and Deals, before you shoot me. What is annoying me that they're saying they're not going to listen to anything now until after preseason, which means that they're considering entertaining offers from Everton. That doesn't make any atom of sense to me. Louisa, I want to get your thoughts on that, on this story.
On why they are entertaining thoughts on
No, they sounded like they will entertain offers for Conor Gallagher by saying they're not going to talk to anybody now until after preseason.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Thomas wants to see most of the players in preseason, and let's kind of know what he's dealing with. So it kind of makes sense that they are not entertaining any talks now, especially even for. I don't think this guy. I don't correct me if I'm wrong. Did Broja follow them to preseason?
No, he did not. And there were arguments that saying, okay, he's going to join them and that and the other one. But I was suspicious. I didn't like that. The story sounded somehow to me, but now we'll find, I think, who is it again? That West Ham are really pushing. So, and the guy himself knows that there are no shortage of buyers for him. But that's by the way. But go ahead with the Conor Gallagher story.
Yeah, what I've heard is that some of the players, even though they are at preseason with Chelsea in the US, some of them are still on the transfer list. While some people who didn't go for the preseason might end up like staying back at the club. So it's kind of a situation of what does Thomas think his team is going to look like? Because I also feel like our business in the transfer market by the end of preseason, because the transfer market does not close till like well after the a little bit after the season starts. I feel like our business in the transfer window is also going to determine the players we do get to keep and the ones that do go. We might not get all the people we want this summer. We might not like fill the positions we also want this summer, which could open room for players that would have naturally gone on loan or would have looked for a way to sell, because we do need them in those like areas which we're not able to fill. And I feel like Gallagher is going to be one of those players who are just like on the edge. They might end up he might end up leaving after the preseason. Maybe Thomas does not see what it's like, because right now it's all up to Thomas. It's not even Todd. Todd does not really like have attachments to these players. In the time of Marina, Czech, and Roman, some of these players, some of these coaches were being vetoed to be like, okay, this player is going to stay. We are going to get this player because they were attached. Todd is not attached to the players. It's all down to what Thomas wants, which we've already said it. We need to we should trust Thomas, and if we're trusting Thomas, we should trust him completely or not at all.
Ty, your thoughts that the Chelsea are even saying, okay, well, after the preseason, I would decide what to do. That annoys me in the first place. I think they shouldn't even listen to them in the first place. Let me just quickly catch up with the chat here. And now, again, the reason I'm doing this, whenever we switch topic, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Otherwise, we'll be going back and forth for a particular topic, and it doesn't make sense. Big mistake, says the Chelsea. Chelsea boy 123. It would be a big mistake if we do let him go. Bilaba, just get Koulibaly better than again. We've gone beyond the Koulibaly topic, but I get your argument. Gabriel Slonina, yes, I'm seeing some updates here, and thank you very much, Ryan Ishki. I think I will find it and share it in a beat, but I haven't seen it again because it scrolled past me. Says Lampard only sees Chelsea players while he's selling his players to Chelsea. I get the argument there. Says entertaining offers for Conor and Broja simply doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And also at the same time, as much as I wouldn't want the club to entertain offers for those two players, I wouldn't want the club also at the same time to keep them for selfish reasons, because we want numbers in the squad, or because we just don't want them to go. That will not make any sort of sense. So yeah, but I get you, and I'm with you on that one. Says Chelsea all the way. Chelsea should not sell Broja, Colwell, or Gallagher. Those three players, even Ethan Ampadu, even what's his name? My man Billy Gilmore. But we'll see what happens. Again, Starling and Gabriel Slonina, Nathan Aki are coming to Chelsea. Let's see if, again, we haven't announced Starling yet, but I'm hopeful that will happen. Now, Ty, your thoughts on this Conor Gallagher situation? Okay, Dios, can you come in? It doesn't look like Ty is close by again. He's always doing many things at the same time.
Gallagher, well, we know that Gallagher had a very good loan at Crystal Palace. Well, would we be considering him to leave? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Thomas Tuchel sees him as a priority this preseason.
He's been singing in praises all season.
Yeah. Preseason, I think him, Broja, and Colwell are the three that's going to be very looked at. And Ampadu as well. I reckon Ampadu could give a shout, and Gilmore. But Gilmore, we wait to see in preseason. But I think Gallagher has a key role to be part of the first team next season. But like I said, it's about seeing what he produces in preseason.
Yeah, again, like the manager, his IQ. I think even Thomas Tuchel himself did say it after singing them praises all season.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
boom, towards the end of the season when he was interviewed, he was asked, "Okay, what do you do with Conor Gallagher?" It's like you saw how good he was on loan out there. He says, "Well, we will look at
The
everybody
coach.
during a preseason." Yeah, go ahead.
We should have answered. Like I said, I'm a bit annoyed. The fact that we answered to them and said to them, "Look, after preseason, we shouldn't have said that. We should have said like there's no what do you call it? There's no discussion. We shouldn't have made a discussion to be
Yeah,
said
it's as
about
simple
Gallagher.
as that. He's not for sale. Just go away,
Yeah,
and he ends
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But don't give him
yeah,
hope because they
yeah.
will come back. And that means for that, I think Thomas Tuchel might well decide, okay, let's get money from him and use it to buy some other player we want. I just don't want to see that happen. And here, Herbert, again, you're an AC Milan fan and also Chelsea Football Club fans. I love seeing you around, brother, here, and I hope you're doing well. Again, he says the Leeds overrated Koulibaly, a better choice for Chelsea, in my opinion. But if we're building up for the future, and again, I wouldn't say the Leeds is overrated. Again, that you are entitled to your opinion, but the truth is, I don't think the Ligt is overrated. He's a really, really good player, and that's why Bayern are coming for him. We need, to get the leadership in him, and he slots in perfectly. And as Thiago Silva leaves the club, we still have a natural-born leader in the defensive line. So we're not going to be going out looking for a replacement for Thiago Silva. So De Ligt will be a fine signing for us if we're able to get it over, if we're serious about getting him. Here, it's Kami says, Mendy, Reese, Silva, Koulibaly, Chilwell, Rice, Kante, Colvin, Mount, Stalin, and Harvard. Again, tell me what that list is for. Is that a lineup? I want to know. Koulibaly in Bremer for 75 million, less than the price of De Ligt. Why all these delay? It's not that simple. Again, you will not, and we're even not sure who the players that the club is looking at this point. Only problem with Koulibaly is his age. He's 31, actually. That's what I'm seeing online. But that's not serious. That's not a big problem. If he's taking good care of himself, just like Thiago Silva does, then we'll be fine. You could get up to 4 years more from him. But do I think it's worth it to pay anything north of 30 million for a player at that age? I'd say no. Again, we'll see what happens here. Everton now has the 60 million from Richarlison sale to improve their squad, and maybe that's why they feel like it's enough to buy them a player like Conor Gallagher, a player I would even sell for cheap. But that's, by the way, says the Leeds is 23 for 80 million. So Koulibaly for 35 is money well spent. No, money well spent is the younger player. You're 23, you still got to get like 7, 8, 9, 10 years from, I think you say at least 10 years from him. But Koulibaly, max, he's 31 already, is 3 years that you can get for him. So I don't know. Maybe you need to go back again, take your time, and then redo the calculations and come back. Maybe I'll look at it. But, I hope this doesn't come across to you as an insult. It's just me joking, but I'd rather delete for 80 million. Again, if you're watching and you haven't liked the video, take a second to like the video. We have 86 likes, while we will have 184 people watching. You guys are absolute legends. I cannot thank you enough. Again, like I've always told you, I'd rather you like the video than you donate your hard-earned money to the channel. There are other ways the channel can make money. Again, I want to say thank you for finding time to watch. Thank you for participating in the chat. Thank you for watching, even if you're not talking or not participating in the chat or sharing the video. Even if what you did is just share the video, tell someone else about the channel. I want to say thank you. And again, thank you for 4,008 subscribers. That's not easy. I appreciate that. And I'll plan a giveaway, and I'll definitely come back with it. But before, if you want to participate in the giveaway, be sure you have Western Union close to you, MoneyGram close to you, or you have a working PayPal account, so it makes everything easier for everybody involved. I don't want to go through the process of trying sending and it doesn't go through. Again, delete is again. I've read that one here. It says, "Have you seen delete playing in Italy? A disaster." I don't know why you're saying that, but I think he's a player I like. Remember, he's playing with two older men who are nearly twice as old as him. So I don't know why people are judging him for mistakes. Actually, most of the mistakes he's made in the past are things that come with that age. It's not like he does it constantly. It's something that comes at his age. Sterling reportedly flying to the US today. I suspect the announcement will be when he is there for a big plug to the tour. Yeah, I think you make sense because this guy is a businessman, and good calculations there at Tribute. And in fact, this is one of the first delicious comments for this particular stream. I think it makes perfect sense. And then Javier Thomas says, "I prefer Bremer." Again, he's a good player, and winning a Serie A Defender of the Year, that isn't easy. Says, yeah, it's a lineup. Bring back Colwell and Gallagher. I think we need a mix of experience. I forgot that of the people you had there. Maybe I'll try to look at it again. Who can defend properly between Koulibaly and De Ligt? Both can. Both can. I also feel like the club could sell players like Broja and Gallagher, etc., to pay for Rice or De Ligt, similar to what we did for Lukaku. That may well happen. And Antonio, no H Brazilian spelling. Okay, yep. Again, thank you very much. Who's Bremer again? And hi, play again for which team? Bremer plays. What's in again? Where Alina plays. What's the name of the club again? If you can, please do remind me. Good evening, Coach. I really love your show, and I'm viewing it from Nigeria. Oforitse Yalu, my Niger brother. Thank you very much. Nice to see you here. I appreciate that compliment. That makes me happy. Thank you very much to learn that you enjoy it. I wish we could get Zinchenko and forget Aki. Zinchenko's confidence will really boost Chelsea. I don't think so. How well does he defend? We're looking for a defender. We're not looking, you could say this, practically Zinchenko for Man City is a winger. The way he operates, I think he's being used for his ball playing ability, not necessarily because of his defensive ability. Again, Donatus Abube, an Igbo brother says from Nigeria, also nice to see you. Thank you very much. Another giveaway. Yep, we'll do that again for the 4,000 subscribers milestone. And that's why, but I'm advising, you know why I'm saying that. I think we've had issues processing yours. Why, I don't know. I haven't checked actually if it went through. So that's why I'm advising if you have a working PayPal, you will participate. If not, I don't want the process of going through quite a lot of troubles without being able to get you your giveaway. Reportedly, Bremer has chosen Inter Milan. I think there's something story that's being floated around that he has paper issues. He has to stay in Italy to a certain length to be able to complete the process. It's not people judging him. Even the Juve fans want him gone. How do you know? The Chelsea perspective. Well done with the fantastic service. But we need a good news, please, J-Town boy. That's you. That's the polite way of saying, okay, we've heard all about this. Talk about something else. But J-Town boy, I'm only kidding. Thank you very much for that compliment. I like it. Torino, thank you. Thank you. That's a Lions club, and that's where Bremer plays. Correct me if I'm wrong, Herbert. And thank you very much. Ghost says, hello. Any transfers news? Just pay attention to what we're talking about. We're talking transfers here. Cannot get a decent backup, decent defenders from relegated teams. We don't want backups, and we don't use the term backups here. We use the term competition. We want players that when the starting player gets injured, he comes in, that player will come in and be able to do a good enough job and will still continue to win games. We don't want a situation like what we found ourselves when Ben Chilwell and Reece James got injured. Then we have players who are not able to fulfill those roles as effectively as Ben Chilwell and Reece James. So that's why we don't say backups. We need competition for those players. How about Dembele again? If Raphinha is now going to Barca, Raphinha, we're not even sure he's going to Barca, but I don't want to talk about Barca anymore. We're talking about Conor Gallagher right now. So again, anybody on the panel want to talk about Conor even more? I'm going to skip to the very bottom and we'll switch topics. Louisa, you have anything else to say? Or have you even spoken about Conor Gallagher, Louisa? I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I've spoken about Gallagher and what Thomas' plan is, so I don't really have much to say. I just say, let's see what's going to happen in preseason and if it's going to work its way into Thomas' plan.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I want to ask you: did you just not you? Triply, did you just? Is it a new account? So something is wrong, or maybe again, I've told you what's the cross check. Maybe if there are other means, because everyone else who's won anything here got it immediately when I say, okay, it's done, they check it and they get it. So again, you check what's wrong. Did you create it newly then? You should let me know. Maybe that's the issue. Jimenez is injury prone. Says any good transfer news at Chelsea. Again, I haven't seen anything new. I'm going to skip to the very, very bottom. And the next thing we have to talk about here, Liz is still waiting. We've talked about Gnabry for 34 million. And now let's talk about Lewandowski. I think the rumors that we want him is actually, it's gathering pace. It's gathering steam, if you want to phrase it that way. I don't know why. Again, it's serious. Louisa, you can go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, it's you kind of look at the situation and everything just seems like it's up in the air till things actually start to till we get to the end of the transfer season before things will start settling down and maybe most people would already know their destination and everything. So I really especially the Gnabry deal. I don't know why. Are we still in talks for? Do we still think Lewandowski is a realistic get at this point?
Yep. Again, just quickly, let me answer something here. True Blue, I really do want us this to sort it out. That was why I say again, check the email address that was given to me. Again, if not, we'll go through Western Union and it won't take a day. You will get it. So I want to cross it, and I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm not going to try it. I'm going to check my account again. If it's been taken, because you deserve it, you want it, and you're not the only one. We did like 10 of them, and everyone else has gotten theirs. So that's the only one we had issues with. That was why I say check the email address again. Again, I don't know why it isn't going through, but that's, by the way, again, Louisa, I've come to I've thought about it again. His intelligence is something. It's one of his intelligence when on the pitch. It's one of his biggest assets, and it makes perfect sense to go with him, to go for him. If Thomas Tuchel wants him, again, like I've argued, I'm not going to argue against that. If you really want him, we've all clamored for the club to support the manager, and if the manager says he wants Robert Lewandowski, it doesn't make sense to argue against that. Bring him in, bringing him for the manager. But one thing I must talk about is this: because of the lack of pace and his age, the manager must tweak the way we play to accommodate him, whether we like it or not, because forget about pressing from the front. His intelligence comes in, that is into play because of his movement, his ability to be at in the right place at the right time. Not necessarily his intelligence will not, you could argue in this point, will not make him a better, ball pressing center forward, or however you want to phrase it. So those your thoughts on the links, us being linked with Lewandowski, because it sounded like it's serious.
Well, we need a world-class striker that can finish. There's not many on the market right now. I feel that if we got him, we needed the players that can provide for him. How we got that? We saw last season, there was a few chances that we could have buried with Lewandowski being that up front, that clinicalness. He will bury chances. So I would bring in Lewandowski. It's a different problem with Ronaldo, because Ronaldo, you know what, with Ronaldo, his big ego and that, and we don't want to get into that talking about Ronaldo. So
No,
Lewandowski,
we'll just be going in circles and we'll never get it. We'll never get done talking about it.
yeah. Well, Lewandowski, I wouldn't mind Lewandowski coming in. I wouldn't mind him coming in. It's a good option.
Ty, you want to come in, and after that, you can give us the update you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing when I look at this, it's just amazing to be able to think about this and to consider these two players. I mean, Lewandowski, I mean, people say that Bundesliga tax, but even in that, I don't necessarily think that you can use it in this case, because we've seen what he does for Poland. We see how valuable he is. I mean, he doesn't score every game for Poland, but he does score a lot of goals for them, and he also gets a lot of assists. And it's the past, but I mean, I can remember the Euros in particular. I know Poland got eliminated, but he was working hard. He was working like a workhorse, and I mean, in that sense, that is something that fans want. They want to see whatever nine is up there, any forward that's playing, working for the team.
Breaking news.
Let him finish. Let him finish, Deus. We should always let each other finish it, because if we're talking at the same time, we'll get the audience confused. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, so in that sense, he works for the team, and that's what we want to see. And it's something that in Tuchel loves. He loves to see pressing and trying to win the ball back, quick ball retention and everything like that. So it seems sensible. The thing is, I think fans are probably saying that, oh, is it a short-term fix? Is it something that we need right now? Because we need something that will have longevity. But I mean, this will set the precedent, and this will set a good standard for now if he comes in. Because even though he's done it in the Champions League and he has an aspiration, we speak about Raheem Sterling and his aspiration of winning the Ballon d'Or. Lewandowski will think that he's been robbed in the past, and I mean, he will think that if he goes somewhere else, maybe then, and especially with the narrative surrounding around Chelsea at this moment, they're trying to become a team that are being compared with Liverpool and City again. He will probably look at the situation and say that if I can help this team to get closer to those prospective teams, maybe then I'll probably get more attention, and maybe then I may have a stronger chance of being successful in the Ballon d'Or. I mean, he's 33. It's a good year for him, and he still has some good years left in him as well. And I mean, he's one of those players, when you think about it, he takes care of himself. So that's always a positive. And I mean, it's good. And these older players, these players that have been around for a while, they have this attitude of taking care of themselves in that regard, and it's something positive. And I think in that regard, it's something that we may have to consider and say, maybe if he comes in, he could add that leadership, not only as a senior player, but also setting a standard for the other attackers that we have. And I'm pretty sure the attackers will be fine with him, considering what he offers for club and country.
Yeah, it remains to be seen how we get it to work, because I think we'd have to change the approach of our front man. Because our front men, they have an issue. I don't know if I'm the only person, if it is just me, or maybe there are some other people out there who is able to see what I'm seeing. That one of the reasons why we don't put away as many chances as we're creating is because we play as a unit only when we defend. But when we go forward, especially in the final third, once it gets to put away chances, everybody wants to be the hero. But at Man City, the difference is clear. There's a stark, you could say, a yawning gap between how they behave in the final third and how we behave in the final third. To them, in the final third, it's always about finding the best position teammate to pass the ball to. You get my argument now, and that's where I'm concerned, because at Bayern they're the same. To them, when they get to the final third, it's all about the best position the player. We haven't developed that mentality in our team. Maybe it will still happen. Let's see what happens. I'm going to try again and catch up on the chat and come back to the panel. Again, people, we have 178 people watching, and we have 103 likes. Thank you for all the support. You guys are absolute legend. Kimsu here says, hey, Kochila, for Gnabry, he doesn't want us because of the banter Yeah, I read that too, but that may well be absolute nonsense. There's quite a lot of stuff out there. Some say he's not even considering coming to Chelsea. Some say he wouldn't want to join Chelsea because of his relationship with Arsenal. I don't think that will happen because after all, he didn't play first team football for them. Did he at all? I think he was loaned out, right? So I don't recall his situation exactly, but
yeah, he went to West Brom, and he didn't do well at West Brom, so he went to Bayern Munich after West Brom. Mad somehow. No.
Yeah, and then he blew off.
He went to Hoffenheim, and that's how he got his move to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, thank you very much again. If you have any question, shoot it in the chat, and we'll try to address it here on the panel. And here, which of these players would you like to join Chelsea? That's the poll we have for the people in the chat. 35% says Leroy Sané, and 65% says Gnabry. Looks like everybody have indeed forgotten about Sané. I think his stay at Bayern Munich so far doesn't help his case either. So, but thank you for taking some time to participate in the poll. I think Gallagher, Colwell, Amper, De Broja must stay 5 subs next season. So we need a big squad to cover for injuries. Again, that makes sense. But who would want to stay? Again, one of the things I argue also is the fact that Gallagher is now he's an England international. And I don't think he'd be content with coming to Chelsea, sit on the bench and get to play just cup games every now and then and play 15 minutes every now and then, which will be good. Actually, if you ask me, him getting those game times here, there, every weekend, or 25 minutes per game, 15 minutes per game, will be good for his development. But believe me, I know I've argued that before. And True Blue in the chat, I think I forgot who told me that he wasn't going to go to the World Cup. I think he believes he will believe, if he truly believes himself, he will believe he can do enough good to be able to go to the World Cup. And Ty, again, the updates you talked about, you haven't, quickly, before I continue reading.
Yeah, quickly. Apparently, according to Romano, if this is to be believed, Chelsea are still there. They're waiting until the end of this story with Barcelona, until Raphinha signs. Chelsea
so we haven't pulled out our offer.
Yeah, so that really confirms that we haven't pulled out yet, because I think the club is still holding on and saying that, Barcelona's situation, it could all be bluff, but I don't know. I just don't know, because they just seem to just find a way to do things, and I just don't understand. But I'm not gonna try to, because I may burst my brain trying to think about it. But
it's such a complicated situation, confusing in all aspects. It's not easy. But go ahead.
Yeah, this whole thing is so confusing. First, we're hearing that there's a verbal bid. Now we're hearing that there's a possibility that they can't afford him, and I just laugh. I've heard it's all over the place, man.
Tuchel's moving on to different targets now. Apparently, that's what we've been told.
Yeah, we're linked with some interesting targets, and we'll talk about them in a bit. Having Gallagher is like getting a new signing. He makes our team better. Again, we're hearing the Lampard wants to sign him, and we're saying, okay, we wait till after preseason. We shouldn't even entertain that offer in the first place. Koulibaly news tweeted by a CFC Pies. What is this saying? Could you let me know, or you share the link with me? Again, I'd really want to see. J Town Boy says Lewandowski is another player who only wants a Chelsea, only if he cannot get a Barca move suitable. Again, I argue the same, and there are other reasons why I don't think he really would again adapt to the way we play. I don't know. That's me thinking. Look on CFC Pie's tweet. Okay, I will check in a bit. Says let me go here. So when it comes up, I will click on it to go through it. Today, Koulibaly said and spoke with Chelsea. Tomorrow, Barca in the race. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Again, let me see here. Says massive news about Koulibaly. Again, you serious about a massive? Oh, just one time will be okay. Stick with Havertz as false 9. Get some goal scoring midfielders. Again, I've always argued for us to get goal scoring midfielders. I'm not sure why people aren't with me on that. But Lukaku's problem wasn't lack of pace, but lack of movement. Yep. Lewa will be fine in England if we get him. His intelligence as an attacker is, it's just a brilliant. See how they differ. Now, I vowed I'm never going to talk about it, but here's how I think they differ. Again, how they differ is this: Lewandowski, his runs in the box are dynamic. If he started making a move and he sees that the defender is capable of cutting out the passing lanes or capable of stopping the ball from getting to him, he adjusts his movement. But Lukaku, 80% out of the times, doesn't adjust it with movement. He stays there and always wants the ball to get to him, which for me is an issue. Again, we have 172 people watching and we have 108 likes. Thank you very much for 108 likes. And if you haven't, please take a second to like the video. I will appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much for all the support. I cannot thank you guys enough. Says Barca are the most fraudulent club in the world. Again, I want to stop the Kim. So I'm sorry. I love you, but I want to stop talking about Barcelona right now. Leroy Sané over Serge Gnabry anytime, any day. The man already done a good in the Premier League. You could argue that. Again, any team would be lucky to have Lewandowski. He's obviously world class. I personally would prefer someone younger and less expensive. It's as simple as that. In the next few days, Ramadani could bring an offer around 40 million from Chelsea for Koulibaly. I'd like to see that happen, but even at that, I still would want us to still get De Ligt and get them both, not just one person. Again, it says not just either of the two, but I want them both. Kimso and Basa, okay, let me see. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom because we're about to change the topic. Chelsea are still there. They are waiting until the end of the story with Barcelona until Raphinha signs. Chelsea will be waiting to see what happens at Fabrizio Romano. It just makes sense. And thank you, Ty, for sharing that. And if you haven't, please, and you're watching, take a second to go check out Ty Talks YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Yes, and just 1 second. Let me quickly finish, and then let him know I sent you. Go ahead, Dils. You wanted to say something?
Basically, another thing as well. We've heard that recently. We just heard that that number 9 position ain't a position that we were looking at the moment. If it does come as alert, that's when we will go in for Lewandowski. That's what's been told to us.
Mm-hmm. You could argue Lewandowski. Ty, let me ask you this. I'm not really sure. Are you well acquainted with his ability on the ball?
I really can't say that because I mean sometimes I'll see things and it's not the same the next game. But I do think that he's an instinctive player. That's most of what I know. He's an instinctive player. He doesn't do things that, in a sense, if it's a case where there's a threat that he may be outnumbered in a sense by defenders, or if defenders are able to win the ball off him, he finds the most ideal situation to get himself out of that tough choice that he may have to make. And because at the end of the day, I just think that he's a player that adds that quality to his game where if he's at risk, he tries to find the best solution, and that is something that would be nice because that's instinct and that's initiative that you love. But I do know that he's that his movement on the ball, I may have to probably watch some games or probably read some analytics of it to compare it. But but what I can say is that I know he's an instinctive player in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, Mosh. I get your argument that I spoke about the importance of getting Lewandowski in the previous show. Number one, agreed with me. Since coach, you're talking about couch or you're talking about coach? Didn't think we don't need a number 9. I seriously don't think we need a traditional. Let me put it this way: a traditional number 9. It remains to be seen whether Lewandowski is able to fulfill the what's it called again? The hybrid number 9 role, which I think it's usually what Thomas Tuchel prefers. But that's an argument that I really would want to get into. If Thomas Tuchel says, okay, go get me Tammy Abraham, I will ask questions. I will say, what is he doing? then I'm gonna support him because it is club before even the coach and the player actually, and I'm all for the club. Backing the manager. If backing the manager would mean getting him Tammy Abraham, I'd support him. But I'd argue I haven't seen this man use a traditional number 9 before. What is he doing exactly? So again, that's not to me to say it would be. If we get him, a lot of players will learn from him, and there's a chance it works. So again, after all, Lukaku looked like it was going to work from when after his second stint, return of his second stint at the club, he had a few good games. So except for some certain games, he struggled badly. But that's, by the way, at this point, I'll bring back John Terry. he will boss the defense. I know you could argue that Lewandowski wants a Barca still chasing that Ballon d'Or stolen from him in 2020, and maybe I don't think he believes he'd find it at Chelsea Football Club. Maybe going to Barca, maybe that will help him get it. I think you make a very good argument there. That may well be his aim, to get the chance to win that again. Again, I'm going to skip quite a few comments and read anybody's comments that I haven't read before. Kachila, that is very true. At the final third, everybody wants to be the hero. At the final third, you will see how selfish our players are. But again, most people don't see it. It's something that if you pay attention before you realize that's actually a problem here. They never look for that's the best position teammate. They always want to be the ones to score the goal. And that's, by the way, I'm going to try to catch up with everybody here because it's just me. I don't have a studio engineer. I personally think Gnabry more than Asane. But let's see. Let's be reasonable. We need Asane much more than Gnabry. Again, good argument right there. Gnabry news came out today that he doesn't want to play for us because of Arsenal. Then almost immediately, other news came out. He's open to Chelsea. Just don't know what to believe. Again, we've learned over time, you just have to take everything you see, that put them together and call them speculations, and then dissect, analyze before you come to a sensible conclusion and say, okay, this may well be the case. I don't think that's the case also. Again, it says, what's going on? Why it says, and that's Jackie Titus Quizzy. What's this Chelsea management within? Again, they're working, and we'll see a lot more signings start to show up, but we'll see what happens. For 32-year-old Lewandowski's movement is very impressive. That's why I say I take him any day, anytime, any day for his intelligence. But the question remains, how much game time is he going to get out under Thomas Tuchel? And they'd argue that he probably knows that already. He knows that Thomas Tuchel is not a big fan of, but it depends on how Thomas Tuchel wants to use him. And I can't say categorically that he is a traditional number 9 or a hybrid striker. I'd say I've seen him score goals and all that, but I haven't paid attention to be able to tell what he is really. And this is David Yamzi says, I don't see how we get Gnabry, especially with him turning down 200K a week at Bayern. We can pay him 250 wages after, again, all that. Chelsea should move on from. It's hard. We've refused to move on. I'm hearing Luis Rivera. How are you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. He says, "So, fellas, been a while. I still want a coach and True Blue playing centre back for us. Injury suspected." Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And even I don't remember that. I said this before. The last time I played football, and actually, I'm not a good defender. I will concede 1 million goals if I try it. But that's, by the way, I'm going to skip to the very bottom of the whole comments here. I feel we should keep Ziyech. I don't want him to stay. It would just be a waste of his talent. And again, I don't want him to stay. I'm going to skip quite a few comments, get to the bottom, because I want us to get to the next topic. John Terry is already back at Chelsea. Yeah, we should just get him to come train a bit and then get on. Says we have Odoi. We don't need Raphinha. Just look how Real Madrid have been patient with Vinicius Junior, and Odoi is our most creative winger. You think so? Well, I don't know, but I think Thomas Tuchel trusts him. He stays anyway. It doesn't matter what we think. DOF, he's laughing. Were you conversing with somebody, or you asking a question? I don't know. It says Lewandowski can make a movement as much as he wants. If the midfielders and all the forwards have no vision to find him, he will be a waste. That's another delicious comment, and thank you very much. It makes sense. Tuchel wanted either Haaland or Lewandowski. Tell us how you knew that, a gunplay. I'm not into that kind of comments. Chelsea is still speculating and over speculation while top rivals have concluded signings and have started a preseason while Chelsea is packing a bunch of players. Again, let's be honest here. We had issues. We were under restrictions that restricted us from talking with players and getting them to put pen to paper. Yes, we were allowed to talk with them, but we couldn't even, we were not allowed to complete deals. Plus, I think the club's priority, everybody involved with the clubs, the priority then was to make sure we got out of that, dark moment in our club. Again, so you should, I'm not sure why we're still, whatever we talk about, that is, we say the club is slow in the market. We haven't signed a player. Again, it just doesn't make sense. We must factor that fact into our, complaint or our decision before coming to the conclusion that the club, isn't doing well in the market. We won't get goals if we don't have a creative midfield, no matter who's at the number 9 position. That's another delicious comment from my brother, Luis Rivera. Thank you very much for that comment. Odoi left Raphinha's right, suggesting JT as DOF. Oh, now I see. I think that makes a sense. That is Luis. This thinking here, because he has the pedigree that when he calls the player will listen.
Do you think that's the case, though?
I think that's the case. They respect him, but go ahead.
And I mean, we've heard Todd Boehly wants an ex-player on the board, and I think this is probably the best way to do so, especially if you want defenders. I mean, people. I mean, he's not at the. He's probably not considered European like a lot like sort of the other European defenders like Ramos and things like that. But he does have that certain pull. People look at it and say, maybe he could do something. I don't know about him as the DOF per se, but I think maybe having him on the board for some role, probably close to what Czech had. Czech was able to go and so watch players because he does go and watch neutral games as well. So it's not like Terry only watches Chelsea games or when he can, he watches Chelsea games. He goes to other games as well. So that could possibly be a possibility. As a DOF, I just don't think that role is as big, but on the board in terms of having some part to play in terms of signings, it could be possible. And you never know, he could pull certain players because he is attracted to certain people. I just seen him; they just don't want to leave their spouse or anybody they're dating close to him, though.
Yep. Luis, your thoughts on the suggestion for John Terry as a DOF? Is that something you want to see?
Yeah, I think when I'm also of the opinion that he really doesn't have that much, the kind of pull. I could be wrong. I don't think he has that kind of pull outside England, which would need. But at the same time, I think he did an Instagram of where people were asking him questions, and he was like, he's not going to coach or manage, and that's why he left the previous club. Was it West Ham or Aston Villa? I think one of them. So I do think it's being considered. I don't know if we end up going with him, but if we do end up going with him, it's been good in attracting decent talents for the academy. I don't know how that is really going to translate, how his clout is going to translate outside England.
Yeah, I think he's that popular. He's that popular because, for instance, if some factors you look at, we played quite a lot of high-profile Champions League game, and he played in the World Cup too with England. I think he's a very popular figure, and that does go, as a DOF, that will go a long way for him. He has the pedigree, he was that popular. I think it's something I'd like to see him again. But I get your argument And you said it already that he's able to attract some talent to the club. Think about all the players who knew him that well, who was still, who was old enough to see how good of a player he was for Chelsea and England. So that's how I want you to see it. Again, we have 36 people watching, and we have 116 likes. So if you haven't, please take a second to like the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, thank you for all the support, and thank you for 4,000 subscribers. Now, Ty, your thoughts
on the screen.
No, your thoughts about. We'll talk about that in a bit. The stuff on the screen. That is John Terry for DOF. Have you talked about it already?
Yeah, I did.
Me.
Yeah. Deals was what I was looking for. Deals, your thoughts?
My thoughts. I feel that John Terry would be a good idea. He is well known, because back in his time, I think people are forgetting he has a very good record in the Premier League as a defender. So I feel that if we're going for defenders, he would be a good option as a director of football. But I reckon the best options for us right now under the Boehly era, I reckon it's Michael Edwards or Paul Mitchell or a Maxwell. That's good at the
What
job.
about we use one of us? Maybe, but you're talking because you think those guys already, they do have the network already. Is that what you're considering?
Yeah. That because they're very experienced. They've done good jobs in the past at their good past, present. So I think they will be a good option. Not John Terry. I reckon we can't put an experienced player that has been at our club before as a director. I reckon if we got, like I said, Michael Edwards, it'd be a good option.
Yep. Again, thank you very much. Again, I do appreciate that input right there. Here, I wanted to talk about these. Where he says Tuchel should have done away with bomber players like Conte, Barkley, and Malang. Again, the whole thing wasn't up to Tuchel. Barkley is on a very high wage, so it wasn't easy to find him a club that'd be able to pay him his wage and something like that. And it's not easy. Again, I get your argument. Terry, as DOF, not for me. Can you elaborate? You can't just say not for me. Here, how we operate here. You're an OG here, Chelsea all the way. So tell us why. Gunplay, we have so much Deadwood in our squad. Ziyech hasn't flopped. He hasn't, not at all. He's just weak. He's not even weak, actually. He's improved. If you argue he's weak, I'd argue he improved. That is before the whole, the whole thing went down south for reasons we do not know. But I don't want to go into that. Prone at Chelsea, man, cannot get more than a 10-game run. Again, if Chelsea continue things like this, I don't think they can be in the top 4 next season. Ogunremi Joshua, I don't agree with you. Continue like how. I think we'll be fine. And remember, I told you this, like I've argued before. By the time the transfer window shuts, I think we'll have a very good season. LA Dodgers have owned TV mega deals and can spend freely. Different financial situations than Chelsea. I think he will eventually get Chelsea to get those, to be getting in so much money because he will commercialize the club in a good way. My only concern is that I hope he finds a balance between making the club more financially viable and also at the same time being sure that the football aspect of the whole thing is being run properly. Because if he focuses too much on one and leaves the other aspect will suffer. It's as simple as that. Moshi Sabeta said we should also be keeping the eagle eyes on Upamenko. This boy needs a manager who believes in him, and Tuchel can grow him. Again, that's your argument. Werner still feel like surprise us next season. He may well do, but we'll see what happens. But I'm hearing that the club is still open to sell him. Rafael Leo, we'll talk about him in a bit. Only defender to be nominated 5 times for FIFA Pro, 4 times UEFA Team of the Year, European and World Awards selected by players. So, Louisa, this answers your question how popular he is. So, people do know him very well. So that shows you Louisa, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, so this is True Blue trying to shame you in public. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding anyway. But
True
but
Blue
he
is
just
always trying to
highlights.
shame us with facts.
He shames us with fact quite a lot. But the truth is, this comment right here, a delicious one indeed, just highlights how popular John Terry was during his playing time, and players still remain popular even when they stop playing. So my
Yeah,
argument is, yeah, Sally, go ahead.
but that's the thing I'm thinking about.
Mm,
When John Terry was John Terry, most of the players that would be going after in the next 3 to 5 years were not. I don't think they were watching football when John Terry was John Terry, or
but
if they
their
were.
agents at least know him.
Oh yeah, of course. I feel like what would go well for John Terry is that he was a player. He's able to convince players. He knows whatever, no matter how long it is, players still want the same thing. They want to play with good teammates, with a good manager, get their money, and play in a competitive league against the best people. He still has that. He has that ex-player factor going for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, again, he was that popular. But thank you for that information. Simon, this is me singing with my dad. But Simon, thank you. Nice to see you here. He says, I like Chelsea. Has linked to. It's like Chelsea has linked to all the players in the world with no success getting them. I'm really appeased. Calm down. One minute.
Love that last words.
Yeah. Do you want me to continue singing with you? I can, but just calm down. I think everything will be all right. Gunplay says Nathan Aki, not the traditional six CB, good in the air, but doesn't dominate. I want my CBs to be dominating those air ball. Again, I think we've actually of recent had issues defending air crosses when it's in the air, but we'll be able to defend crosses on the carpet. I will never forget in my life that Benzema was able to score three-headed goals against us in 2 legs. I still argue that was by design by Carlo Ancelotti, because he knew we're not able to defend balls in the air like that. Again, since Gunplay, okay, just talking to Gunplay, no sentimental. I don't do sentiment. Never wanted Lampard as a coach. I never wanted him either. But we all supported him anyway. But we learned the hard way that he wasn't ready. But we need the young who has that final killer pass and all those things. Yep, I think we need him. 19 million for what's he saying? Steve Chronic, what are you saying? 19 million owed him. I'm not sure there. Again, I'm going to skip to the very bottom because we're about to switch up the topic. Anybody has anything else to say about anything else to say about the last topic we talked about? I'm doing so much on my own that I'm getting tired. But that's by the way. Now let's look at this. This is from Absolute Chelsea. Ty, how do you trust them?
I don't trust any of these people. Absolute Chelsea just quotes people. He says everything. Anything that anybody says, he just puts it up. So I just don't know what to trust. Jacob Steinberg, he's 50-50. Like all journalists, they will say things and then they get it wrong, and they'll get something right the next. So I will just take everything with a grain of salt. But with this, I mean, people say that, Todd Boehly, quote unquote, promised a statement signing, and people say that, you know what, this is a statement signing, spending up to 100 million or more for a player in the attack. That is some way of a statement signing.
Yeah, go ahead.
But the question is how much of a statement signing it is in terms of, is it just a statement to say that we can spend this big amount of money, or is it a statement signing to say that this player is quality and price will not be the issue for us? Yep. That's the thing. And for me, I mean, Rafael Leo, he has had a good season at AC Milan. The question is it one of those periods where we're going to be seeing him do well, and then after that he may not be the same if he comes to Chelsea? That is my concern. And for Italian players right now in the attack, I have my little concerns, because we've signed so many players from Italy and most haven't worked out. It's unfortunate, but don't think that spending that much on an attacker is the best decision. There are cheaper options, and considering what I saw from Rafael Leo when I did watch AC Milan and when he was playing games, because he didn't play as much games compared to obviously midfielders or defenders, but he did start a lot of games and he was key in a lot of them. You can find cheap options for what he offers to the team in a whole. But I mean, it's just one season. I mean, I think the best thing right now is to let him stay where he is. If the interest is valid, go for him next season. See what he does first. In a second season, then he made the decision because we have other options who can add what he does to the team already. So I don't know if spending 100 million on a player that you already have a profile similar to is the best decision to make.
Yeah, again, here's one thing I want to say, and I want to say a word that I usually find difficult to say. Rafael Leon is a generational talent, and if we cannot pay anything, and he has just 2 years left on his contract, and the buyout clause is said to be around 140 million. For 2 years left on his contract, I think we could get him for much less, and it's a player I really would like us to get. And I think I don't know how truthful this is. If that's the case, and that means that Chelsea means business. They really do mean business. They really do mean business, but we don't know. There's no way to confirm that comment there. Again, Dale's your thoughts.
100 million Liel. I've watched him a few times. Did he take on the defenders? We need a wingers that can take on defenders and score goals. And for me, I would go for the cheaper option, Gnabry. I'm only saying that because I feel that it's a cheaper option right now. I reckon Liao's the future, so we can go for Liao like a next summer situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion on Liao.
Yep. He's Luisa, your thoughts on Rafael Leo? Is it a player you like? Is it a player you would want to see at the club and all that?
I would like to see Leo at the club, but I don't at the price they are calling. That's almost like our entire transfer budget gone, and we do need to get in more players than we can actually afford just from the budget alone. We do need to still even sell some to afford to get in the players we do need. So I would rather we go for Gnabry, then maybe try and still work out a deal with Leo to maybe assist. There is wait for the maybe 1 year of. By the time it's 1 year left on his contract, we going for him. That would be the better option, not 2 years.
We're talking about a talent. It's not just you that's watching him. I'm sure Real Madrid are well aware of what the talent he is. I'm sure Man City or I'm sure PSG or it's not just you. And even right now, I'm quite sure that it isn't just us that's looking at him.
Well, if everybody is going to watch him and they have 150 million to pay, they should pay it and get him off AC Milan. And it's really not. I don't think we don't have to go in for all the best players that is in the world. We do need to first of all get our base squad settled in. There's always going to be the next generational talent. There's someone better than Leo out there. We just need to look better.
That's a good argument. Ty, I want you to look at this. This comment here from Gunplay says Rafael Leon for me is still too average to rate that high. To rate him that highly, we might regret this if we break bad. Here's the thing: it's a risk that's worth taking, and there's so much stuff you see from a player that you know the risk is worth taking. All you need is just to be patient with him, if you ask me, because there's a chance we'll wait and say, okay, let's see him mature even more, and then it will end up being a colossal mistake on that, and that's how I see it. Ty, you want to say anything about that comment on the screen?
Honestly, this is a 50-50 thing because we've seen a situation where the club have decided that, you know what, I think he's still a raw player. Maybe give him another year, and then we end up missing out on that player. And an example I can use is Chouameni. And realistically, last summer, Tchouaméni wasn't really as convincing. He was doing good at Monaco, but I think there were some reservations about him. And even Fabregas came out and said that at this moment he doesn't think that he's found a role for himself, and he thinks he needs to find that one specific role before making a big move. And I think maybe that got to the club as well. Maybe they thought about that and said maybe at the very moment he's not ready yet. And the only difference is that with Tchouaméni, with that example, he was cheaper. Rafael Leo has a release clause where that makes him very expensive to get. And for me, I've always said I don't like to judge players based on their price tag, but the price tag weighs into this situation because it's basically you spending much on a player, and then you if they don't work out, the view that I will give is that, oh, you spend yet again 100 million, you've broken the bank for this player, and yet again it has not worked out. When will you learn? I think it's a case where the club may like him, but I think they may look at the situation. And like you said, there's 2 years left on his contract. 1 year left on his contract means that means that his price may falter and it may go down a bit. I think he'll still be high next summer, but I think compared to now, I don't think it's something that the club should really be considering as the main choice, because that amount of money for a player, despite how good he has done this season, it's a case where you still have to consider this. But I mean, for me, I wouldn't say he's too average to judge. I just think that it's just been one season of him expressing himself. Maybe another season we'll see if he keeps up with a level of consistency and probably add to it.
Yeah, but I think he needs to do it consistently. But then again, it's a risk. There are other clubs looking at him, and by the time we leave it to that point, he be looking to choose clubs that we look at and call the clubs we call the bigger clubs, if you prefer. But that's, by the way, again, I want to say again here it says Boehly only owns 20% of Dodgers. The Dodgers were already legendary in Brooklyn before your grandparents were even born. They can sell themselves. Yep. So that argument makes perfect sense. We need 1v1 specialists like Gnabry. Again, we also have good relations with AC Milan, and Tomori and Giroud could convince him to join. I think the only person I think who sounds like he still had, he still has Chelsea at heart. He still respects Chelsea. He still loves Chelsea is Giroud. I think he's the only person that if you talk to him to do such a job for you, I think he would. Tomori will still be bitter to a certain measure. If you ask me again, that's how I see it. Chelsea, otherwise, Chelsea are prepared to. What are they preparing for? Just to make the bid. Yeah, again, I get that comment, and I understand. Again, we have 110 people watching, and we have 118 likes. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video. Again, thank you for 4,000 subscribers. And like I told you, I will plan a giveaway, and I'll get back to you on what we will be. So if you haven't, like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. It says give Leo some time, maybe next summer, because now AC Milan would want 120 million plus, and then by next summer we have even more clubs vying for the kid's signature, and then it may be difficult for him to come to us. Werner, Gnabry, or Sane swap. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to answer that one. If we're surprisingly go for Neymar, 100% PSG go for this summer. We'll go for him this summer, yeah, because they know him. Watching live from Ghana, Gabriel Kobina, ACN, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And as we're getting closer to the end of the show, if you haven't, please take a second to let us know where you're watching from. And again, please, if you haven't, like the video. It takes a second. Again, it doesn't cost anything. And if anybody asks you to pay, tell them that Kimso had already paid for you. Watching from Ghana, thank you, my West African brother. I appreciate all the support and you coming along to join us. It's Arsenal's journalists who are saying Gnabry doesn't want to play for Chelsea because of his Arsenal links. People ignore those journalists. Again, it makes sense now because he didn't get the deep play forced him for them. If he did, it would be just a few games. I think Wenger didn't trust him that much, or maybe was waiting for him to mature even more, but he had to leave. Still looking forward to Boehly marketing ideas and future. Again, yeah, you can be rest assured he's good at it, and lots. We have lots of. We'll be making money from lots of sponsorship deals and all those kind of stuff. We it can buy about the three best players with that money. Guys, it's too much money. But when you see a generational talent like Leo, you just go for it. We fans are tired of hearing Chelsea preparing to buy. Just buy already. Like I said, well, I'm tired of hearing that a player ABC is coming to Chelsea. Let them stop coming and come already. That's my argument, and I'm serious about it. Says what he says again. I think he's stuck in. Todd owns 20%, but handles almost all of the commercial deals. That's because they know he's good at it. Again, he's a good businessman. Please, Chelsea are still keeping on usefulness players like Odoi, Barkley. I think they will keep them, but it doesn't come down to what you think, to what we want. It all comes down to what the manager wants. Good night, Kachila, in the panel. Cheers. Cheers to you, to Gunplay. Thank you for all the great input in the chat. Joseph Osanga, Joseph connecting from Nigeria. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. If you're in the chat, finally, before we end the show, please type where you're watching from. That makes us happy. Why would we sell Broja? West Ham, when they are talking nonsense? Again, I wanted just to put that on the screen, but we've really come to the end of the show. This shows a tie. If you're looking at it, if any of you want to say something about it, it just shows that we're already talking with them. If you read that again, it says West Ham striker search intensifies with Broja talks to continue with Chelsea, which means we're entertaining the option of that is we want to sell him. Looking forward to those future marketing deals for CFC, but in football, FFP limits our spending choices. 3 years of polling period. I understand that too, but we see what happened. God bless you. A great fan of your program, Queenie from Ghana. Thank you very much. Atakora Bright, I appreciate that. Queenie, if you prefer, thank you for all the love. We thank you wholeheartedly. If West Ham wants Broja, they should pay 90 million. Good luck. Give it a shot. My cousin back in the village plays football, and he plays in every position, and he's a cheap. Thank you, J Town boy. Jamaica, chunky fat 12. I love your name, brother. Heights in respect to you. I thank you for joining us here. Big up my Chelsea family. Big up straight up from Jamaica. Iban's brother, nice to see you again. Thank you very much. Do you think we will get a delete? It's hard to tell at this point because we're hearing that we're not serious. We're reluctant because we think he's a professor joining Bayern. We should really go in for Bayern. We'll see what happens. Watching the stream live from Zambia and doing my night shift at work. Again, I keep working hard, bro. I understand bills don't pay themselves, but if you keep working that, someday you may well own your own company, pay yourself, and then employ others. So thank you very much for joining from work, Button, Lambeka. I appreciate that. All the way England. Thank you, Chelsea, all the way. I appreciate all your support. And here we have what's our next player to sign. I'm not sure, Gabriel. I'm not sure.
Wait, we've given up on Sterling?
What?
We've given up on Sterling?
Me?
No, them. Because I just saw that it said since we are done with Sterling.
Yeah, exactly. That I'm not sure what they're saying there. I am watching from South Africa, guys. Wonderful show indeed. Well done. Thank you, Moshe. Sabete or Sabete. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Thank you for all the support and all the love. And Gunremi Joshua, my Niger brother, say from Nigeria. Thank you. That's so sweet to see. Henry Nwogo, an Igbo man, says, I have been a Chelsea fan for over 3 decades in Nigeria, watching now from the UK. Dalon Wane, I appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the love. Again, anybody else on the panel want to say anything regarding what we're hearing about Broja?
I'm heartbroken.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
I think the profile that he is, I think it's something that it seems unfortunate because we are having this striker issue, and without giving him a chance, at least we're ready to sell him for profit, and to gain some funds that could probably benefit us in the transfer market. It's unfortunate because he never got a consistent chance of playing in the team. He opted to go on loan, after being advised to, and he went to Southampton after he had a good little preseason game and everything. I think this is a situation where he reminds me so much of a young Costa, and I think with great development he could have become a player that had that level of flair in him and level of consistency. It's something that to me is unfortunate because he could have become a key player for us if he got that chance. And I think this in itself could really set a narrative to a lot of the youth players that we have, that no matter how good you may do on loan, no matter what, sometimes the club will use that as an opportunity to say that, this player is drawing attention from clubs all over the world, and despite to be that should be an indication that if he gets the chance, you never know, he could become a key player and probably save us millions in terms of having to spend money on a new striker, if that is the approach that the club want to make. I do think that this is a situation where Broja probably looks at it and say that, well, I had a dream when I was younger, when I first joined the club, that maybe I will join the team and I can make a legacy here. But if the club wants to sell me, then, it benefits my career, and, good luck to them. And, I can just hope that, wherever I go, I may, be able to make a legacy there and, make a name for myself. But, I don't think the door is shut on this, because what it does say is that it looks likely. But I don't know. I think for the right price, it should be done. And 30 million for him, I really don't know. We have the opportunity to set a price for him right now, and then if the club decide to go back for him, we can take that approach. But right now, I just don't understand. And I keep saying this, not because Tuchel may not value him, and I don't want to use the word value, but not because Tuchel may not want to utilize him, because maybe it probably doesn't suit his system or what he wants to try to do. This in itself doesn't mean that Broja isn't good enough. It just means that under a certain management, he may not suit his approach. Because we could use the example of Hakim Ziyech. Lampard likes Ziyech. He was key to what he was trying to do at the club, and then Ziyech got that injury that kept him off weeks, and then it was a month. So I think in that sense, it's something that you have to look at, that although Lampard valued him, Tuchel may not utilize him, or may not have utilized him the same way, or trust him in the same light that Lampard did. It doesn't mean that Ziyech is not a good player. So I think with Broja, he is a good player. I just think that maybe Tuchel looked at it and said that he's a good player, but the way he is, his type of playing style doesn't suit what I want to do, and it's unfortunate, because I think you could be able to make a compromise for him. But if it's a case where he does leave, good luck to him, and I do think that in a couple of years he will be considered at the same level as your Haalands, if he doesn't get that big injury that these unfortunate hot prospects or potentially players who can become top stars get.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ty. And this is Moshe Sabete, South Africa, my brother from the medieval land. Thank you very much for all the support. And Chinedu Abiagam, a great fan of Nigeria, watching us from Dallas, Texas. Yes, Chinedu, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I was in San Antonio last week. That was where I went for my vacation / a wedding. And again, it burns like hell in San Antonio. Again, you need your air condition, but nice to see you here, brother. Thank you for all the support. I sincerely do appreciate that. Samuel Alanga said, you were really doing it well. Please, any news about Eriksen of medical Martinez from Ajax? No, I don't have any of that. I think Eriksen is joining Manchester United, right? And Anthony from Ajax, or Martinez from Ajax, I don't know much. I don't have any news about him. And thank you very much, Samuel. And really feedback says Broja is our Haaland. We should give him that chance, and he is dynamic. And I'm thinking the club may well just go back to, okay, let's sign him and put in a buyback clause on his contract.
A
I
buyback
think
clause.
I think that's it may well all end up being the case. But Broja needs at least one season to prove himself with us. I believe in him. Do we think Thomas Tuchel believes in him too? I just don't know. If Broja goes, then we need to bring in a striker. It cannot just be Havertz and Werner, and we must pay attention when we're talking about bringing in a striker. We must not bring in a traditional striker. Guys, we are going for Koulibaly. Would be a great signing. It will be a delicious signing, one that I'd like to happen. Us selling Broja will hurt us in the near future. That's the truth. Again, a buyback clause isn't good enough. Breaking news from Romano. Chelsea have verbal agreement with Chicago. Are fire over Gabriel Nina. Yeah, thank you very much for bringing that up.
This is so confusing. Did we sign him already?
Yeah, we have now. We've completed. Again, guys, we should not let West Ham get Broja. Again, it's not up to us. We can talk about it all we want. At the end of the day, if the club wants to sell him, they will. Koulibaly's agent has met with Chelsea. Yep, I think we've read that before. And here he's Mason Payne, my guy, been running stream for like 12 hours. Again, I love to do it, and thank you for all the support. I appreciate you even finding time to join. And again, you must remember half of them are automated, but every now and then, even I'm sleeping, if I wake up, I do respond to comments in the automated stream, and I think that's why people like it. Timo plays very well as a lone striker. No, for Germany. Maybe because Germany entirely, the structure and the way they apply their formation or system, if you prefer, I think it's different. That's why it works for them. But Timo is best, and his best is like with a second striker. The problem with Koulibaly is the president ADL. Yep, he's the most difficult man to deal with ever. We ain't gonna get him. If we're gonna get him, it will never be for cheap. I've always said that before. Broja should go nowhere for less than 50 million. He shouldn't even go anywhere. We shouldn't sell him. This is a player in a year or two will be worth 100 million plus. Lewandowski happening. I heard Tuchel likes him in Gnabry. I think so. If that's the case, let's get him. For the new season, will you guys be doing watch-alongs? First of all, I haven't done watch-alongs before. What we do is usually pre-game shows where we wait, we get the lineup, we analyze it, we ask questions whether Thomas Tuchel has selected the best 11 or something like that. It'd be funny if Broja was at another team like a Real Madrid or Barcelona, we would go all out to sign him. That's a very delicious comment. We lose out in the lead, I think, but get Kounde and Aki. So, go ahead, your final thoughts. Have you given us your final thoughts?
Everything, or
let's start with Deus. Deus, say what you want to say and your final thoughts on everything we've talked about today.
With the Selena news, that we're buying him for 10 million. No, not 10 million.
Selena, right?
Yeah, Selena. He's going back to his club where he's at now.
Yeah, he's too young.
Yeah, he's too young. Yeah.
So overall, your final thoughts on everything we talked about today?
Everything we talked about today it was productive. It was good. We went into some news about Gnabry, Broja, Lewandowski. It's all exciting. What we're gonna be buying. It's exciting. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. What us Chelsea fans have to be patient. That's what us Chelsea fans need to be patient.
Yeah. Thank you very much again. You have to be patient. The floodgate with the signing of Raheem Sterling, we argued, has been swung open. So all you have to do is just wait. We're standing, all of us, the panelists and everybody, in the chat, with those of us, we're family here. We're standing right in front of the gate, and everything we'll hear. If you're with us, you'll be one of the first to hear it. So Ty, go ahead with your final thoughts before I bring in my co-host, so she lets us know if there's anything that she wants us to talk about. If she thinks we should call it a day.
I mean, with everything, discussing Lewandowski, who I think he adds experience and he adds that level of instinct to the attack. It's something that I think a lot of clubs consider going for him. Gnabry is a player that I think is 50-50 because I think some people look at the fact that maybe he quote unquote didn't make it in the Premier League, so probably that would be a red flag and an indication that maybe Bundesliga suits him better, or probably another league, probably the intensity in the Premier League doesn't suit him. But I think we can't judge him, and I think that even though something I didn't really get to say is that if he comes to the club, you never know if we end up keeping Werner past the summer, he could probably benefit him because we've seen that he plays for Germany and he gets the best out of Werner. So if Werner does stay, it's something that we could consider. This whole situation with Raphinha is crazy, but I'd rather not speak too much on it because it really makes my head hurt. The situation, considering Sane as well, a player that I think could add value to any team he plays for. Obviously, he didn't really live up to the standard that he could have gotten to at Man City for unfortunate reasons. But I think maybe he could do something if he got a move to a different club as well. Players like Koulibaly, it's something that I think people will consider. His leadership is something key, and it's something important at Napoli. And I think they value his leadership, and I think a lot of defenders appreciate him. He has connection to Edward Mendy, so that would add some level of connection, if he came in the back line. And, he would probably be a replacement for Rudiger if, the club if want an immediate or experienced leader in the back and adds that aggression. So I think maybe that makes sense. The Ligt, it's a situation that I think it's 50-50. I think we're interested, but like I was saying, I think maybe the club are looking at the fact that Bayern Munich probably are attracting him, but it doesn't mean like it's a done deal. And like we keep saying, until he holds up the shirt, and until any player holds up the shirt, it's not a done deal, and it can be hijacked at any moment. So we have to be careful when we say that it's done or it's going to happen, because until they do the announcement and contracts are signed, they're not a player for that new club yet. So I think in that regard, everything, in a sense, it's something that we need to consider. But it was a good show. It was nice to hear what everybody had to say, and I mean, it's always a good show. And I mean, long may it continue. And I mean, I'm not sure if you're at 4,000 yet. I think you're probably closer to it now. But
it's 4,021.
Coach.
My point exactly, and I mean it's the growth is well deserved, and the hard work you put in it just shows how dynamic your channel is.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just quickly before I come to you and I'll go to Louisa. If you're still watching, I appreciate all your support, and please, again, we wouldn't be where we are today without the support of the likes of Thai Talks. So I'm going to share the link to Ty's YouTube channel because I'm able to open it in the other system. Please take a second, go check it out. Subscribe to Ty's YouTube channel. That will make me happy. I appreciate that. He's doing quite well. He should have thousands right now. But again, with your support, he will get there. A link to Ty's YouTube channel. I'm going to put it there. Ty's YouTube channel. Please take a second. Be sure to go and subscribe to his channel. Even if you're on the panel, if you haven't do so, I know you will be subscribed to his channel already. I know Deus, but I don't think Louisa has. There you go. Please go take a second. I will pin it to the top too. Please go and subscribe to Thai Talks YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Go ahead. You wanted to say something, Deus?
Yeah. I wanted to announce something to you, Coach, that I'm going to the first home game against Tottenham. So hopefully you're streaming just before the match starts.
Yeah, we do that every game. I will tell you.
Yeah. I will show a little what's called preview before the game starts.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. I think probably you can show us players warming up on all that. So I truly appreciate that. So thank you. Yeah. And if by any chance, if I can support you with anything, even for drinks before time, I will let you know. Now, Louisa, up to you. Your thoughts on everything we talked about, or do you want anything else you want us to talk?
Yeah, what's been happening so far, at least, like you've always said, we just need that one player to come in and everything would start falling into place. So I think that player coming in that things will start falling into place for the men's team will be Sterling. I think that should be like announced pretty soon in the coming days. So let's see what the next target after the Sterling deal. And I do think if we do, I would rather we get, if we are going in for a proven old striker, I would rather we get Lewandowski over CR7 anytime, any day. And the Gnabry or Sterling, I don't think both of them have the same profile as like footballers, so I don't really think they have. There's a leg to stand on to say one is better than one. If we do, the fact that Gnabry was from Arsenal, if he's going to look down on that and not come to Chelsea, I don't really think that's the case. He might still actually be loyal to Arsenal, but I don't think if we do going for him, that I don't think that's going to be like a deal breaker for him. It will probably be something else, like maybe he doesn't want to come. It's not because he doesn't want to come because of Arsenal. It's going to be on other factors. And the Raphinha deal, I don't see him staying at Leeds. It's probably the only thing that's happening is either he's going somewhere else completely, which we've not heard of before, or he comes to Chelsea, or he goes to Barca. Because Leeds already got his replacement, and Leeds want the money. They need the money from his sales to do other stuff. They don't have the kind of resources that is available to some of the other clubs, and they need to make a profit on him so they can do other business. That's just how, what I have for today.
Yep, and thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, we have 103 people watching, and if you haven't, please take a second to, just take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. I can't thank you guys enough. Choma Yusuf says, congratulations, brother, 4K subs. I missed the show. I know you probably have all the priorities tend to, but more importantly, you're paying attention. That's how you knew we've gotten to 4K. I can't thank you enough for always being there to support the channel. To everybody in the house, Choma, who's one of the queens of the house, thank you. And to everybody on the panel, from Deals CFC to Thai CFC,
thank you.
to Louisa. And by the way, look at their Twitter handles. Go follow Thai Talks. Check out his YouTube channel. I have the link to his YouTube channel in the chat, and I pinned it at the very top. If you look, you'll see it. Be sure to go subscribe. Let him know I sent you. Follow Deals on Twitter. Also, Louisa Sol_Daro is his Twitter handle. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you to Chelsea all the way. Thank you to Phantom of Many Topic who just joined that Trust Todd Modern Tuchel. Always controversial. And he says at 127 to like, you're like in the 1 millionth tire of football, so nothing to win. Rice will be a little cheaper next summer, I think so. So thank you to Kingslayer, to everybody in the chat. Thank you to True Blue. Thank you to Mason Payne. Thank you to It's Corny. Thank you to Paulie Ebanks, my Jamaican brother. And thank you to all my South African brothers who were here in the chat. If I miss your name, I'm only human, but I just cannot thank you enough. You guys are absolute legend for the support we get from you, and we'll keep doing our best to entertain you. We'll be sure to always keep it objective. We're never going to feed you nonsense. We're like a family here, so thank you very much. God bless us all. See us tomorrow in the morning for the Blue Morning Show, but also keep an eye open for the automated show. It has everything. You don't have to be going to those Twitter accounts one by one. Just watch it, and you get updates from some of the biggest names in the Chelsea community. Thank you. God bless us all, and cheers.
Big up.